because there's nothing left for Seth to work with here. Needs to get some kind of luck, but we'll see if that's going to pan out, because right now this seems like King's lobby. King drops down low, finds Sashi in front. Sashi does manage to take out one, and now it's going to be a 1v1 between King and Sashi, but Sashi has the high ground. Oh, how the tables have turned, and now it's going to be King. I thought King was going to be in a great position to win this one, but you just got to laugh at yourself in those moments, and Sashi does manage to pick up the victory royale.
Man, very unfortunate. Ran out of builds there toward the end. You know, he did have the high ground. He was in a great spot, but unfortunately without the builds, he's going to slip back down, and Sashi's going to say, well...
What a plot twist.
What a twist.
That was a swerve if I've ever seen one.
You know what else is a swerve? Moving on to this next game, that's absolute
because we knew that was going to happen.
I mean,
So
I didn't know we were going to
technically
be
it's not a
here. But see, I didn't know we were going to be here. And look at the fire gameplay we're going to be tuning into here at...
How many times have you been fired this broadcast? It's impressive.
Oh, man. I actually don't even work here. I don't know why they keep letting me back in.
You're actually just being paid in V-Bucks to just come in.
I wish I was being paid in V-Bucks. I'm being paid in high fives right now.
Yeah, and...
just one a day and it's from
Bubblegum.
sundown. And that's the life. That's the life I live. Check it out, man. 37 players left in the current lobby. We're near pressure plant. So, you know, depending on where we go from here, could be a little difficult to navigate. But keep in mind, you do have geysers very close by. Those vents are going to help, you know, launch players back in. Redeploy going to be initiated there, but we'll have to see how things unfold.
And this is Storm Phase 4 as well, Z. We're typically going into Storm Phase 5 or 6. We're going to see that first half in, half out circle, and as you had alluded to, that is really going to change how this game plays out. For a lot of these players, I think they kind of hope that it's going to land on the right side, but we'll see. Okay, so it goes a little north. Yep. That's fine. You have to take that, because if it went back over to pressure plant, that would have been so frustrating to play out of.
Yeah, we're going back downhill up north over by Sunny Steps. Like you said, it's just kind of like those inclines, right? If someone else gets there before you, they start to build, they can box you out. And then you're just in a tough spot, especially if they're using metal. You have to spend a lot of time breaking through to try and get to safety. Bruzada here is in a pretty okay spot, all things considered. Look, he was literally on the lip here of that. He was like, if we're going back left, I'm going to be ready to make the rotation. But look at everyone else. They've already got themselves nice locations, established themselves. Matowsky. I'm so sorry if I butchered it.
Matusky.
Okay.
Matusky.
Sure.
Maybe it's Matusky.
If we butcher your name, super sorry. Just hit us with that Twitter.
Hashtag Fortnite World Cup.
Fortnite. Becca was ready to save me there. I appreciate it.
Because we do that every time.
The thing is, man, there's just so many names to keep track of, and there's always new names popping up. Like I've never heard of this.
And remember, you lack the ability to read, so the fact that you even made that was
you hear how long I sounded it out for? It was a long time. It felt like an eternity.
I was right there with you, though, to be fair. So I'm no better, honestly. Oh, man. I just got to own it.
That's right.
Well, we got Matusky. There's one elimination, 2 shadow bombs, a gray AR. Would love to be able to swap that one out. Pump Me is going to be up above. And they're just going to exchange some fire to some of the players that are going to be out and about now.
We're about to hit Storm Circle 6 as well, and the lobby hasn't thinned out at all.
Not at all. Oh,
as
nice
I say
connection.
that.
Good connection there. And I think these guys are working in tandem with one another, Zeke, because while it worked out for Matusky there, you certainly got to say, oh, thank you, bud. I appreciate the help from up above.
It's tough, man, especially when you see the way it works is you send one shot out, and then, like, you know, someone else is in the lobby, they're like, oh, that person's shooting at that person. Let me also try to shoot that person. And then this happens X more amount of times, and then one of you might pick up the elimination. If it's you, great. If it's the other player, you're like, oh, man, I just, like, wasted, you know, I tried to get that elimination, pick it up along the way, it didn't work out. Draken's here, though. He's going to be up on the high ground, 5 eliminations, just picked up his 5th. He's in a pretty good spot right now.
Oh, he jumps in. He jumps on in there. He's going to get right in the face of Shocks, and Drakens was waiting for that opportunity. There goes the launch pad, and over and out. Will just find its way down low this mountain.
Something of note as well.
Like that.
Drakens is already qualified, by the way. I can't remember what he changed his name from. Sundown can help clarify, because I remember he knows, and he's specifically like, oh yeah, that's Drakens. DK outs. See, thank you, Sundown. I love you so much.
Oh,
This is
that's
W7M's DK outs, just like we've seen blackouts, Knicks, you know, all these W7M boys. This is Drakens. And again, that just goes to Sundown's knowledge, man. He literally knows he just has a photographic memory.
Yeah.
He's everything I wish I could be.
He's the giver. You ever read that book? You might read it in English class.
I've never read, so no.
You know, he's the giver, okay? It's a good book, by the way. One day when you learn how to read, Zeke, you'll read that one. And not a great movie, though. I'm going to keep it 100 with everyone.
Always got to be real, man. You got to keep it up.
Sometimes the books are typically better than the movies or the shows.
That's how it goes, unfortunately.
Unless it's Marvel.
There you go. That is a great point.
The comics, movies, everything's great.
Well, that was a very unfortunate, unlucky situation there. As Lucky is sent back to lobby. 102 there with the tactical.
Gets
the follow up. There you go. That is a player sent back to lobby. And look at Dragons right now, already on 8 eliminations. He is poised, man. He wants more. He's looking for the win.
Ripping apart this lobby has been so impressive. Hey, I may even use his code without while he's playing here. Oh no! Oh no! It's gonna give him the hands, baby. He gave him the hands. He gave him the old 1-2.
He literally ran out of bullets. That's why he swapped away. You saw him go for the reload.
Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge all throughout the mountain. This is insane. Ben Stiller wishes he had those moves.
Drakon on quite a spree, putting on a performance again. That is DK outs from W7M. His real name is Drakens. Now we are over onto right now 2 eliminations, trying to just establish himself. He's trying to catch players as they rotate in with their backs to the storm walls. He might get a shot over on here. Nope, they are prepared for it. That's actually Drakens, of course. And Drakons is not going to be falling for these types of little cheeky plays.
Let's see how this is going to work out. We have 9 players remaining. The next placement threshold is going to come at top 5, and that's going to be the connection there for PLDS. Now, I want to make sure I'm saying the name right, so apologies there, my friend.
Oh, he's got the edit. He's dropping down.
Oh, he's sliding down the mountain. It's like an action movie. Oh, man, goes right down the mountain and connects. It's going to have 81 builds. Some players are just going to be gliding their way down. It's going to be critical as well as Naking. Then up above, Zenzik in the ultimate high ground. As you saw, we went to the overhead there for the moment. And they're just going to hold this build down. If this player tries to challenge in, looking at how that player is moving, I wonder, I don't think that player had any resources that he could benefit from there. Now, top 3, Zeke. It's coming down to this moment as he goes around to the mid-ground. Actually, I believe he'll be at the ultimate low, but with the way that pressure plant is structured, and I mentioned before, getting over to pressure plant is going to be so frustrating to have to play out of.
Yep.
Naking's going to be up above.
Now,
Regate in the mid.
So I believe we're actually going to move over this geyser, if I can see it correctly.
I don't think we're going to make it to that point.
We may not, because look, now is looking for the challenge and gets Regate PA immediately. So it's a 1v1. You actually might be right. He might look to challenges and take him out. Because look, Niking has no shield. He's on effectively 100 HP. Nye on the bottom right, and now up on the bottom right, and then now on the top right of your screen.
Yeah, well, I think you're right, Zeke. I stand corrected. It is going to come down to this geyser. Oh, no, it's going to come down to the geyser, and they're just going to be knocked around here. They're going to have to fly in the sky, and Niking, he should be able to survive out of this. He stayed inside of the circle. Oh, no.
Turn up, get a shot, get a shot.
Oh, he manages to connect with him, and the geyser threw a wrench into everything. But what a conclusion to those games. Let's send it over to Courage, who's standing by over in the studio. Wow.
Brilliant end right there. Doesn't get much more dramatic than that, and the guys are coming into play Sundown, but obviously great to see the matches from the 3 regions that we don't get to cover live here. Obviously, we go from Europe to North America East, North America West. Crazy action throughout the day, as always, as expected. And I know it's been great to watch some of these players qualify.
Yeah, it's been incredible so far. I mean, the qualifications coming out, we've already seen 11 players. And in fact, we're going to have the opportunity to speak to one of those players who qualified out of the European region. You guys know him. You guys love him. You saw him last week on the show as well, and he's back. We have Solaris Keenstar joined again by Yoshi. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing today?
Fine, and you? Thank you.
Doing fantastic. So, Keenstar, man, we talked to you last week. How does it feel now to be a duo qualifier, qualifying for both the duo competition and solos?
The last week I qualified with Hunter in the duos, and today I could play without pleasure. So I could play my gameplay. I could play more aggressive. So I don't know how to say, but I'm really happy again.
Yeah,
to
no,
be
I
qualified
know
in solo then.
particular when you and Hunter end up doing, you kind of like chain it back a little bit, play for placements, but watching some of your games, you were going after people today. It looked like you were a man on a mission. Did you feel like there's kind of something different in your mindset today?
T'as compris? À moitié.
En fait, je demande si par rapport à ta qualification, est-ce que là, ton esprit il a changé, vu que ton gameplay a complètement changé, comment tu te sens en fait?
I always play the same. I mean, how can I say it? I always play the same time like every week, but this time I just find a new spawn like Mega Mall, and it's very OP. I'm not going to lie. A lot of chest, a lot of ammo. You have everything there, so.
Hey, man, sometimes that's all it takes, a little bit of an adjustment, change up where you are in the start of the match, and you let your mid-game and end-game scrolls roll through. So now, looking forward to the final, what's your practice going to look like now that you qualified for both? Are you going to be focusing on both game types, just keep doing what you're doing, or what's your game plan look like there?
From now, every tournament I'm going to do, it's going to be a training for me. So that's all good.
Nice.
Like
Simple as
I
that.
said, I know, that's exactly what you want. The stress off your shoulder going through. Well, I know it's getting a little bit later over there in Europe. So what I want to give you now is your opportunity to say whatever you want. You can plug your socials. You can say thanks. This is your time, Keenstar.
Comme la dernière fois, il te demande si tu veux genre parler de tes réseaux, etc. pour que
Je
je
te laisse faire.
Okay, so he's telling me that you guys just have to follow him on Instagram and on Twitter. It's all the times like Kinstar 9G2I or something like that. Just go follow him because he's maybe the next winner of the World Cup.
Hey.
Everything to make it.
I like that.
in mind.
Right
away
Wait, hold on.
Whoa, I'm good. But Yoshi putting it down there. I mean, congratulations again. We've seen you from the Pro-Am stage. Now we'll be seeing you on the stage in New York City for both the solos and duos competition. Congratulations. And again, go drop him a follow at Keenstar92i on both Twitter and Instagram. Have a good one, you guys.
Thanks.
Have a good one, guys.
See ya.
Great stuff there. I mean, Kidstar's been a household name in European competitive Fortnite since the very beginning. As you mentioned, the Pro-Am, I actually went up against him. I remember he was one of the guys that stood out to me. Was always, I think in the warm-up games we had then all the way a year ago, he was at like 11, 12 eliminations in those games, just frying everyone.
You eliminated him, didn't you?
I didn't want to bring it up. But I did eliminate Kinstar, and that makes me a better player. I think that's
Yeah, that
that's
one
about
time, that's how that happened.
Yep.
Dropping the DMs. GG, bro, I was the guy with the grenade launcher.
That was it.
But let's take a look here. We saw a live peek into some of the Brazil action. Their matches are still rolling, getting around right about to the halfway point. So looking up here, you got Nyx hanging out in that #1 spot. Again, don't forget 2 spots up for grabs. You also see Dracon's hanging out there. Both of them have recently left that W7M, putting out some free agent signings. So, I mean, if you're looking for some representation from South America, these guys have been pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Also, the one thing I called out, the 9Z boys, the boys coming out from Argentina, you got 3 of them, all within striking distance. And we've seen all of them, Leobas, Santidad, and Lagarto. They're so close. But Nyx is starting to open up a little bit of spread. 19 points clear of that 10th place spot. That's impressive.
Hey, it's the difference in those victory royales, 2 of them already in his first 3 games. As we know, the Fortnite World Cup action, it goes on throughout the entire day. North America East has just began. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a brief little 30-minute break, get some food here for everyone in the crew, and when we come back, North America East coverage begins. Don't go anywhere.
What's up, Fortnite fam? Sundown here, and today we're going to cover some of the basic terminology you should know when watching competitive Fortnite. If you're familiar with high-level gameplay, these should be commonplace and a nice little refresher. If you're a little newer, buckle in because you're about to learn up. Rotations. A rotation is the path a player or team takes to get from their current location to the next safe zone. Rotations cover not only the direction the players choose to path, but also the method they use to get there. A lot of different forms of utility enable rotations, including vehicles, rift-to-goes, building, shadow bombs, and glider redeploy. A player's ability to rotate effectively is key because this determines what type of engagements they'll be facing and whether or not they're at an advantage or disadvantage. Gatekeeping. Gatekeeping is when a player who is secure inside the safe zone puts pressure on an opponent who is forced to rotate because of the storm closing in on them. The gatekeeper is able to get uncontested shots onto the opponent, as they are forced to move due to not wanting to take damage from the storm. You will see a lot of top players utilize this in order to create opportunities to get eliminations and points. High ground advantage. High ground advantage is when you have a height advantage over your opponent and are looking down on them. Having the high ground enables you to have more access to information and easier ability to take and hit shots. You will frequently see players battling for high ground in all stages of the game, but in particular during the late game. The ultimate high ground is generally the player or team who controls the highest level during the final circles, and they have a number of advantages. They are typically the least threatened, can decide when to drop down and start taking fights, and also have great angles to punish opponents with AoE weapons or rifle fire. Low ground warrior. The next term is the opposite of the high ground. The low ground warrior is the player looking to sweep along the ground floor, taking close quarter combat fights and forcing opponents to make the first move. This can also be efficient because it often doesn't require as many materials or as much of a risk to gain control of, but can also lead to being in a lot more chaotic of an environment. Backside of the storm. Speaking of chaotic environments, our next term is possibly the most perfect embodiment of this. The backside of the storm is when the safe zone is closing in towards a new one and the players are clustered in towards one edge. Generally, it is very high density of competitors, and you will find a lot of interactions, engagements, disengagements, and eliminations occurring at this point, particularly for those low ground warriors we just talked about. 1x1s. 1x1s are the most basic proponent of building in competitive Fortnite. This is when a player boxes themselves in using their own builds, making them safe from outside fire. This technique can be expanded on to allow for players to take control of a space around them, but it all starts with the 4 walls around you, then a floor plus ceiling that each have a pyramid on them. Tunneling. Tunneling is the first basic expansion of the 1x1s. Tunneling is when players create a tunnel out of their own builds in order to rotate safely. This is typically done by putting out floors and ceilings in either a straight or diagonal path, then covering your sides with walls as you advance. This allows players without utility to rotate for maximum safety. 90s. 90s are when players utilize vertical 90-degree rotational building in order to build upwards as fast as possible, while also remaining covered. This enables players to try and gain high ground advantage or outplay their opponent to get a quick, different angle. You'll frequently see them used in mid-game build fights or in endgame scenarios where players have to build up very quickly. This has been a quick rundown of the common competitive terms that are frequently used on broadcast. If there are any other terms you are unfamiliar with, let us know using the hashtag Fortnite World Cup and asking for an explanation. We hope this helps you level up, and we'll see you all on the battle bus.
Yo, check this out.
What's up, Fortnite fam? Sundown here, and today we're going to cover some of the basic terminology you should know when watching competitive Fortnite. If you're familiar with high-level gameplay, these should be commonplace and a nice little refresher. If you're a little newer, buckle in, because you're about to learn up. Rotations. A rotation is the path a player or team takes to get from their current location to the next safe zone. Rotations cover not only the direction the players choose to path, but also the method they use to get there. A lot of different forms of utility enable rotations, including vehicles, rift-to-goes, building, shadow bombs, and glider redeploy. A player's ability to rotate effectively is key because this determines what type of engagements they'll be facing and whether or not they're at an advantage or disadvantage. Gatekeeping. Gatekeeping is when a player who is secure inside the safe zone puts pressure on an opponent who is forced to rotate because of the storm closing in on them. The gatekeeper is able to get uncontested shots onto the opponent, as they are forced to move due to not wanting to take damage from the storm. You will see a lot of top players utilize this in order to create opportunities to get eliminations and points. High ground advantage. High ground advantage is when you have a height advantage over your opponent and are looking down on them. Having the high ground enables you to have more access to information and easier ability to take and hit shots. You will frequently see players battling for high ground in all stages of the game, but in particular during the late game. The ultimate high ground is generally the player or team who controls the highest level during the final circles, and they have a number of advantages. They are typically the least threatened, can decide when to drop down and start taking fights, and also have great angles to punish opponents with AoE weapons or rifle fire. Low ground warrior. The next term is the opposite of the high ground. The low ground warrior is the player looking to sweep along the ground floor, taking close quarter combat fights and forcing opponents to make the first move. This can also be efficient because it often doesn't require as many materials or as much of a risk to gain control of, but can also lead to being in a lot more chaotic of an environment. Backside of the storm. Speaking of chaotic environments, our next term is possibly the most perfect embodiment of this. The backside of the storm is when the safe zone is closing in towards a new one and the players are clustered in towards one edge. Generally, it is very high density of competitors, and you will find a lot of interactions, engagements, disengagements, and eliminations occurring at this point, particularly for those low ground warriors we just talked about. 1x1s. 1x1s are the most basic proponent of building in competitive Fortnite. This is when a player boxes themselves in using their own builds, making them safe from outside fire. This technique can be expanded on to allow for players to take control of a space around them, but it all starts with the 4 walls around you, then a floor plus ceiling that each have a pyramid on them. Tunneling. Tunneling is the first basic expansion of the 1x1s. Tunneling is when players create a tunnel out of their own builds in order to rotate safely. This is typically done by putting out floors and ceilings in either a straight or diagonal path, then covering your sides with walls as you advance. This allows players without utility to rotate for maximum safety. 90s. 90s are when players utilize vertical 90-degree rotational building in order to build upwards as fast as possible, while also remaining covered. This enables players to try and gain high ground advantage or outplay their opponent to get a quick, different angle. You'll frequently see them used in mid-game build fights or in endgame scenarios where players have to build up very quickly. This has been a quick rundown of the common competitive terms that are frequently used on broadcast. If there are any other terms you're unfamiliar with, let us know using the hashtag Fortnite World Cup and asking for an explanation. We hope this helps you level up, and we'll see you all on the battle bus.
Yo, check this out. Yo, check this out. Yo, check this. this out.
Fortnite fam, we are back. It is time for Week 7, the Fortnite World Cup Online Open. We're getting ready to hop into NA East. Now, and just in case you may be just tuning in for the first time, or maybe you just need a refresher, let's run through the day, how things are going to go, get you up to speed. We'll do it together. We'll start with the schedule. Now, if you've been watching, you know Oceania and Asia, they already wrapped up this morning. We saw the tail end of Europe. Brazil has also concluded, and now we're hopping into these last two blocks, NA East and NA West. Now, of course, the format, what you're used to, top 25, top 15, top 5, and the victory all are all the placement thresholds. Every elimination is a single point. Now, of course, don't forget that $1 million prize pool on the line. That's what these players are competing for. Money's great, but the thing that's better are those qualifying spots. 8 coming out of Europe, 6 on NA East, 2 up for West, Asia, and Brazil, and Oceania has a spot as well. Now, of course, you guys have taken to social media. You know that we love to use that hashtag Fortnite World Cup. Some people being excited about moving on to the finals, some people sharing their favorite skins and the like. Sundown, we've got quite a few to choose from.
I mean, right now, first of all, I love kind of the duality here between Stompy and Aqua. So qualified 5 out of the 7 weeks. Aqua and me looking good on top. Aqua, double qualified. Let's go. Stompy and me looking good on top. You guys coordinate that, you know, maybe work something out. Also, Kinzo saying, I got an exam at 7 a.m. tomorrow.
Oh,
No.
All right, Kinzel.
You're going to have to repeat your incredible performance today in the classroom tomorrow. Keep those grades up as well. Very important. Had a couple other qualifiers going through. And again, that's what it's all about. It's getting a seat at that table. In NA East, we'll have 6 spots up for grabs. So, I mean, I want to check out and see where we're at so far.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings, see together where players are shaking out. Again, it's finals day. Like Sunna talked about, there's only 6 spots up for grabs right now. And at the top, 100 Thieves is Kaizui holding the #1 spot. And this is only after the 2 games played so far.
Yeah, we just started getting through it. And again, I know we kind of always talk about it, but the thing to keep an eye on is that spread from top to bottom. Right now, it is only 7 points. That's a top 5 placement with 0 elims. But speaking of already at the start, the number of names we see up there, Kaizui, we've seen before. Tendi, we've seen before. Aspect, Macwood, Elevate, Assault, Illis, Sheep, Spoof, Progiaces, every single one of these players. We've seen their name up here in the top 10. All veterans of Fortnite Battle Royale, some veterans of other Battle Royales, and they're pressing forward, trying to get a seat at the final.
Well, guys, I think we know what you're ready for. That is games. We're ready for the same. We're going to need 2 casters. And, of course, we're going to need a dynamic duo of Dr. Lupo and Courage JD. Gentlemen, I'm sending it your way. Let's go, son. Now we got games to play.
Oh, baby, baby, baby. I am back, and I'm filled with fajitas right now. That was a delicious lunch.
Yeah.
And man,
he ate mine, too. I didn't get to eat. If anybody is out there, please send help.
man, there were.
Please.
I did have 5 servings worth. But no, we are ready for the NA East action. I was looking through all the channels live. Everyone's up. The action looks great. We just saw the standings. Let's go into the games. Come on. Come on, Alex, back there. Go into the games. All right, dude? I'm sick of you already. Let's go, baby. NA East, starting on up, all different perspectives. We're going to keep you up to speed on everything going on. I saw some tweets, Lupo, of certain people winning games, losing games, making it far, not making it far. Cloaksy apparently won his first game, said, okay, now I can't tilt. Then apparently he tweeted 2 minutes later saying he tilted. So, you know, you never really know what to expect in these matches, but there is an hour and 55 minutes left in the queue as we kick off the NA East action with Provoke OB, who's already at 11 points.
Little set of shots there. 98 build's going to go down and collect all that loot. Probably the best opportunity to do so. You don't want to get third party by somebody in the rotation in there. People get to see the little loot pile pop up and think it's a chance to take shots from pretty much anywhere on the map if they have line of sight on you.
Yeah.
Focus top down here. Going to move up. Boxing up at the very edge of the storm, kind of an awkward position out there I'm actually a little confused why he built all the way up to use a redeploy to drop back down to where he was moments ago.
Here's what I actually like about that. Provoke wanted to begin to build up for redeploy play, started to get shot at, and instead of trying to greet it and use that little bit of height he got to redeploy to zone right away, he instead drops low to the ground to avoid taking too much damage, and then goes ahead, builds back up, and uses that redeploy a little bit later on. So many players have already moved on into the zone, one of them being Kipper here with another elimination, the 9 point earned. Speaking of the number 9, 9 impulse grenades, Dr. Lupo. Something that you and I both have a lot of experience with.
I have only ever used them to my advantage. They've never been used against me, and you can't prove it otherwise.
That is true. I do not have the clips ready.
9 impulse grenades, though, I would say probably the least perfect situation in terms of mobility. You'd rather see shadow bombs, a rift to go, even a baller on the outside, something else to make this traversal, because we've already seen, literally, we were watching Europe earlier, and a player, a handful of them actually struggled to make forward movement, forward momentum with that, because it can be a tough angle in the middle of you potentially getting shot at by people on rotation.
Yep.
You got players all over you, a lot of builds out there that you don't even necessarily own, so an impulse, maybe the least likely of choices for mobility.
Thankfully, Kipper did have that baller still alive. Speaking of mobility, 5 shadow bombs right now for Prodigy Aces, and 1 will be used right away on this rotation. 9 points so far. Prodigy Aces trying to get this height. Good job bouncing off that wall to be able to get 1 more leap before the timer on that was exhausted. And he'll turn back towards the edge of zone and just look to see if he can put any damage downrange just like that. F-Low getting cut down. First elimination of the game for Prodigy Aces. More shots coming on in. This player panic building some metal, trying to protect themselves. Only 34 AR shots left. Good job on the edit there with the door before using that Shadow Bomb. Remember, if you are new to watching, Shadow Bomb's recently introduced into competitive Fortnite in the game itself, and we've already seen it take over as one of the main ways of mobility late game. And what you just saw right there was one of the great little techniques as he finds an open wall that he actually had claimed for a second elimination. But the point I was getting at is you can build a door and then use the Shadow Bomb. You can't do any edits when in the Shadow Bomb form. So you make a door, you're still fully covered, then you pop the Shadow Bomb, and then you're able to just open the door so you have no actual threat of taking damage. Prodigy Aces drops on down for a brief moment after that Shadow Bomb. Did pick up some ammo, and now another elimination onto Mexi. Ben, Prodigy Aces pop it off here in the last couple moments.
Excellent set of positioning, good rotations here, and 25 left. We got placement points. Oh, you got to be careful though. Some players will spot that shadow, take shots at it. And you were talking about the editing the door. The one thing we've noticed already is more and more now, as you see a door edit, players are looking at it and immediately firing when it opens in an effort to kind of anticipate that the shot there. An already qualified player here, Nate Hill, taking a big shot there. Another elimination, 2 there, 13 points and 19 left. You see Smack picking up an elimination. Qualified duos, by the way, not solos, so he's still out here on the solo grind. My apologies if I wasn't clear enough about it, Jack.
Right, it's all right, man. It's all right. I appreciate you clarifying for everyone at home.
A legend of a player, build himself up here. Actually, there was a clip yesterday on his Instagram of him sitting in a brick 1 by 1, doing the cartwheel emote and playing the guitar.
And singing.
It was beautiful. It was serenading us all.
Brilliant. And then he qualified in like the 2nd place, I think, yesterday. So Nate Hill has been a name at the top of competitive Fortnite since literally day 1. Someone who, is just consistent. He just knows what needs to be done at certain points of the game. Right now, showing off exactly that. Shadow Bomb was used, unfortunately for Nate. No builds left, so looks like this could get a little bit dicey in this late game. A look from the outside looking in of exactly where everyone is at. Smack all the way up top, Prodigy Aces and Sofa fighting each other right now, and Assault from Ghost Gaming there as well.
Sofa goes down, Tekker's down as well. Prodigy a back-to-back, the feed there, he basically owns it. Bolt goes down, Smack picks another one up. 5 elims here for Prodigy. 4 minis, that TAC AR and the tactical shotgun, a whole lot of TAC in the inventory. But honestly, it doesn't really surprise me. Both weapons proving in the right hands to be extremely good. The TAC and the combat shotgun kind of been going back and forth quite a bit recently.
Oh yeah, and this build not nearly as high up as I actually expected to be. And Smack just made the ultimate mistake. Nuked himself down from the high ground and dies because of it. And Smack is going to be pissed at himself for that one. That is something that you cannot have happen on these Sunday qualifying days. 1 versus 1. Prodigy Aces versus Tendi, and Tendi with just 8 HP gets the elimination. And again, an example of a 4-point swing, Lupo, where, hey, that might be the difference between qualifying and missing out on the New York City event.
Up until that moment, too, Prodigy Aces had picked up so many sequential eliminations with that tactical shotgun.
Nice verbiage.
Hit after hit after hit, and the magazine in it is deep enough that you can run through multiple engagements, especially if you're getting criticals with it up close, inside. The box fighting is everywhere. Right now, everyone is trying the box fight, which, I mean, late game, you can't blame them. Everybody's already built up into the structures, so very last second, though, doesn't pay off. Can't get that victory royale. Second place, though, still very, very good.
Very solid. As we swap into our next game, Kaizui from a member of 100 Thieves, 16 points so far. And wow, the reaction time with that sniper. Hits the player who just had that edit up for a brief moment. Now 4 elims. Great little inventory right here. Not sure if he's got any movement items, but does have a baller, so that could be the saving grace as the zone gets ready to go. 48 players left. We've already seen Storm Surge come into play multiple times in these NA East matches from the ones I was watching prior to this kicking off here. We'll have to see if it plays on out that way as well. Looks like Kaizui will build out just a little bit before beginning to move, and see that door. He saw the door, was trying to pre-aim it with that sniper. Doesn't wind up hitting a shot. There's Reverse 2K, probably known for being Ninja's duo partner, as well as just a very talented Fortnite e-gaming specimen.
Wow, known for being Ninja's duo partner. I have no idea what that feels like.
Oh,
First here looking down from the outside. Jack, it was more of a shot at myself than anything.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's very sad.
You do live a very tough life, Ben.
But here we are casting Fortnite Battle Royale, so not that big of a deal in my opinion. Macwood, Lexi, Artsy, Timmy.
These lobbies are insane. Landjock, Kaizui, DMO.
Gross.
Like, are you kidding me?
Look for the back-to-back commandment goes down. Macwood picks up his 4th elimination, 20 points total right now. And there's still 42 in this lobby. Look at the zone.
42 players in this very, very packed zone. Not many on the right side of it. And now it's going to go down towards Lucky Landing. And man, this is going to get hectic real quick. Macwood still looking with his heavy sniper, what he can do. Not quick enough on the draw there. Great reaction time of the opponent who catches that wall before the shot comes through. Macwood 4 limbs so far, 20 points in this NA East qualifier. As we'll go ahead and take a look at the surrounding area. That was a BSB Timmy who got that block on the shotgun shot. Kaizui and Mega, 1 block away from each other, falter in this one.
DMO Landjock, 2 blocks away. Kaizui's down there now, rotating out. Genesis top left. You have players all the way
Animal on the low ground.
Down. Meanwhile, Nightmare Bear 09, looking to beam a player on the move. It gets a ton of damage. TJ goes down, picking up the first elim here. 16 points total. We're still 13 eliminations away from placement points even being a thing. Everything right now is elimination based as far as scoring goes. You see the top right of your screen there. You've seen it once. I'm sure you've probably seen it 1,000 times. In case you forgot, there it is.
Hey, it's good to remind everyone. You never know who could be tuning on in for the first time. Want to make sure everyone's caught up in the loop. Nightmare has a shot, and a quick 80 damage. 2 headshots, so you know that player in that box is not happy right now as that happened quite quick. 36 players, now 35 players left in this game. Nightmare Bear moving on up. DMO left in the baller down low. Sable quite weak on our screens as well. Here's DMO's perspective. Has all the shields you could ever want. A ton of builds left as well.
That player underneath, imagine, there it is, the pop out. Nosh goes down, DMO pick it up in elim real quick and just quickly jump back in the baller, but it does get annihilated. Trying to rotate away and back towards the next portion of the safe zone. Stormit is back, he's gonna be forced to move forward.
Oh no!
Launch pad into a tree. It did put him at the very front of the safe zone. Caught himself inside a little box there. He's got a couple neighbors not too far away. Quick little window edit. Peek to see if he can spot someone on the move, and he's trying to layer up. See, those ramps are there, trying to slow players down and take control of positioning at this floor that he's in. Gonna pyramid himself up, super common. Almost, I don't know if you saw that, he almost did not pop the minis before the full, maybe not thinking he had the time or forgetting he even had minis. That honestly would kind of surprise me. Parallax, Kaizui, DMO, Bizzle in this game as well. Didn't even see that till now. Sable and High Noon.
What a stack lobby.
From Sentinel in here.
Top 25 now.
Parallax goes down.
Top 25. Aspect with a second on the Sable. There you go, 5 points earned by Aspect there in the last 30 seconds.
Quick swap.
Bizzle just took down reverse 2K. Dopeye goes down to Lunezi as well. This is one of the more stacked lobbies I've seen.
Yeah.
Not even kidding, in this late game.
And we're just getting started with NA East. Are you kidding me?
Absolutely incredible. High Noon cuts down Fernando. And here comes the
Backwood.
Shadow. Another 2 points earned for placement as we're in the top 15.
25 points total for Aspect. Solid game so far. 5 eliminations. A third of the builds possible, though. Mega, you see in basically the second highest tarp there. Artsy and Slothy plays both floating in. Going to be see a high ground fight in a second, potentially. A player pushing up above. Mega starting the branch. Artsy boxing up as well. Kaizui all the way down here on the bottom. Almost the bottom. He's got a couple layers actually underneath him. There's still 11 players, and we are in the final circle close of this match. A minute 15 remaining. The TAC AR, very, very powerful and accurate hands. Pushing his way up, doesn't want to even pickaxe through the metal, just wants to shoot through. Kaizui makes it all the way up. He's got the top down now. Players below, 9 players remaining. We're getting very close. The last set of placement points happens at 5 remaining. 8 remaining now as DMO goes down in the feed. And Kaizui's looking up above, making sure he's
on high ground.
At the very top, and he is.
That is high ground right there. Just one layer up above the floor. You see all the fights going down. Landjock, a player that we always see at the top of leaderboards, still alive in this one. Mega there as well. Aspect on the front side of the zone. Mega gets the quick elimination on the Landjock with barely any health left. Aspect player inside his box. It's Artsy challenging. Kaizui with the absolute health advantage right now. 1 elimination. Aspect now there as well. 200 HP versus just 59. Kaizui with the elimination. That is a 7 elimination victory royale. And a big reason why Kaizui, we saw him in the top 10 of our leaderboard.
Pretty consistent placement for a player like that. A lot of those players towards the end of that game too, all very, very, very good. So high scoring across the board for everybody. Even if you didn't get the 3 points from the victory royale, and potentially if you got that last elimination, that one, 4 point swing there, you're still looking at a lot of players that picked up 7 points for placement and anywhere from 5 to 7 points for eliminations. That's a big game for a lot of people.
Oh, for sure. They got the job done there. Swapping over to our next game. Ray Rax. Slurp popped right now, just chilling on out. You see an hour and 42 minutes on the timer, still a ton of time left in these games. No one doing anything crazy as of now. We got to be careful with that rocket launcher. Don't want to hit yourself with it.
I've already seen players rocket themselves
multiple times.
They're actually trying to stay at the forefront of the safe zone, not get shot from the back. Colo King rotating in immediately behind, following Ray Rax in the builds. Hopefully Ray Rax looks back behind the rocket and does indeed find him on the outside. Picks up actually quite a few upgrades. A handful of rockets back up to 5 now.
Didn't get the goal. Didn't get the legendary assault rifle.
Going back out for the loot might have been a death sentence here. We'll see in a second. 25 HP. Shots coming in. Pressure still being applied. Knowing as an opponent, you just took shots at Ray Rax. You got white damage.
Yep.
What do you do, Jack? Do you think that you'll let him just sit for a second and heal?
It's really tough because you're also on the edge of the zone, and the more attention you draw, the more people will begin to beam that area. You're also very far from on this next rotation. So Ray Rax was weak, but the question comes in is like, do I really want to risk my game right now on going for this elimination? You see there's 2 players here already. If they start to shoot more, Apex Coop, Rise Turbo, that other player in the middle there on the left side of your screen would all get involved in spraying. And again, that's a tough thing about solos and what a battle royale is. Not every fight's gonna go as you think. You can't. It's very tough to keep track of everyone in these late game scenarios. Ray Rax is out of builds. I just don't see it. Ray Rax has to find a launch pad that someone else placed or have the most lucky rotation of all time. Look, Ray Rax knows it. Hit that tree for a couple builds. There you go, 3 ramps.
Just hucking rockets at players too on the rotation to make sure that
there's the launch pad.
He can move up and grab that. There we go.
You should. I think actually you would farm these fences. Okay, he's gonna. No.
He's gonna get blasted on the way. It looks like Verb tried to stop with the ramp there, placed it over the top to see if he can stop the launch pad. Couldn't quite get it in place in time, but this, wow. I'm gonna be honest, I was considering moving to Pleasant Park, but based on what I'm seeing here, there's a couple, it's a little overpopulated there, Jack. We got 36 players. Look at the 6th circle here in just a second.
Absolutely overpopulated with the amount of people that are stacked in this one right now, 36 players. Look at the inventory for Poise, Drum Gun, The rare tactical shotgun, 1 boogie bomb, 1 shadow bomb, and finally 6 minis.
Is there a window edit up through there right in front of him? Yeah. Oh, it was. It just got closed.
22 shield is all
I was thinking a boogie in through that window, very fast little
Then
top,
you could ramp up,
push
break
in,
the wall.
smack that open, claim it, edit the window, take
Get
the
the
tack shot
elimination.
through the window. So close.
find out who it is, tell them he's trash,
Tag them on Twitter.
Tag them on
Clip
Twitter.
you eliminating them. Tag them on Twitter.
upload it to YouTube.
I've never been tagged in
Biggest
someone
SoundCloud.
eliminating me in Fortnite Battle Royale.
Stop.
It's never happened.
Really?
Yeah, I've never lost. It's true. Check my stats. Thanks.
Is it because it's the ultimate battle royale experience?
That's because I use code Dr. Lupo.
Oh,
Out here in the outside. Come on, Jack. It was too good of a chance there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The drum gun, even from a distance like that, still extremely effective. Boys rotating to the outside, drops that launch pad. A very smart rotation to make their way all the way in. We're at 32 players now. Top 25 is placement points, and the shadow bomb, the last shadow bomb, I believe.
Wow, Poise put a lot into this rotation, the launch pad and the shadow bomb.
It's tough.
I think that's the end of his movement, so maybe we'll keep an eye on that as it goes on.
Unless he finds a player to claim their goodies here in a second, that might be it's going to be a tough game to get out of here. Balua here, 104 builds, no elims, 11 points so far. Blue drum,
2
green
stings.
tack, 2 stings, which he might be able to use here in just a
Say
second.
right now, you're
Yep.
brilliant. Just
There
like
we
that.
go, excellent.
It's just a and look at the trigger discipline.
He stopped. He was going to shoot down the launch pad.
Yep.
Thinking now there's a chance he can go out and use it. Maybe he stopped shooting it just in case he needs to. He needs to make a push for that. He's not gonna. He's in second to find another player rotating his poise, and he does go down. Use all the
No
rotation.
items. But oh my gosh,
There we
Kalua's
go.
lucky.
Whoa.
Kalua didn't even look up. Typically, you'll see players look up to see, oh, am I going to hit my head? You know, Kalua had to get over that mountain.
Jumped in, fingers crossed.
Slurp juice being popped, Kalua will slowly tick back to full HP.
Tendons, Sizlucky's in here. Handful of. Oh, Cloaksy. Right smack dab in the top of your
There it
screen
is,
right
yeah.
there. Sizlucky here. 1 elim. Believe that he's already qualified for duos. The Brush is duo teammate. 17 players left. We're 2 more away from the next set of placement points. Shots here, a little pressure applied. And right now in this position, you're looking for shots like this. You're not staying exposed for too long and
that was
cloak goes
closey.
down. You're not staying exposed for too long because you know that at this point, if there are players that are ahead of you at the forefront of the safe zone, they're going to be looking back for people like you who are taking shots at others, and they themselves apply some pressure.
Yep.
This is like he doesn't want to stay exposed for too long. Right now, he's basically just waiting, looking to see if anybody's going to rotate in the very last second. See if we can get some shots off there.
1 build left. That's it. Can no longer defend himself. His hand is forced. Stuck in the same box as this player. Can't even build out of it. Has to break through the walls. Great shots downrange again. Does like 150 plus HP.
There we go.
Can't even build. Oh no, he wanted to go and build on the side. Another box.
He found-
Enter. Joystick goes down. 10 builds in total. Sizlucky, absolutely, this is something that he can work with here. Pops the slurp. Can't get the recovery.
my
And
gosh.
2 more combat shots connect. Sizlucky has not missed with a combat shotgun yet. No more builds remaining. This is just insane late game dramatics here. There he goes. After all those limbs, Ben, just no materials.
A big combat shotgun run, though. You had
Yeah.
multiple hits, including Struggs, who was looking down from above, a couple jump shots with the combat. Big push here from Kalua. Tries to get Fireball off to that tack shotgun. Can't quite find him. Fireball was at 28 HP. Gets the siphon up to 78 now. He's going to pop some minis here. Got a lot of spray. Gets an elim on tendons. At some point, was that a trap? Or we may have just not seen
Oh
the shot.
no, he's gonna go up a mountain. Oh no.
Back his way up. 3 players left.
He's got a
layers
shadow
to
bomb.
go
He's got a
through.
shadow bomb.
He's got to use it at this point. You get popped from the back.
He's got a shadow bomb.
Taurus goes down, outside in the storm, and Kai just rests up top, just waits it out, Jack.
Yep.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. Well, going up those mountains, the number one way to do it is just be above it. And Kai was there, set, ready to go, brilliantly done, keeping the high ground and holding it, and still had 15 bandages at a campfire, like literally no shot.
Sitting pretty for the end game there. 1 elimination in Victory Royale, still 11 points.
11 points. If you can do that every game, you absolutely qualify by a large margin.
Do that every game, Jack? That's ridiculous.
I know, but hey.
A free 110?
That's the way I put it. You know, I put it as 11 points. If I got 11 points every game, that'd be above average for me. That's a good game. Okay? But then the next game, when I get, 95th and 0 points, then it's okay, then I'm averaging right now 5.5 points. Okay?
Quick math. Well done.
And then the next game, when I get 45 points because I'm the best Fortnite Battle Royale player in the world.
Okay, you're now up to 56 points over
in
three
games.
Do the math, Jack.
I mean, at that point, I just automatically qualify. That's my plans. I'm going to play next week, and you just wait and see. I'm not casting. You just wait and see. Okay? When I'm at 56 points after 3 games,
I'm going to give all the credit to Bartonologists or whoever you happen to be with, Jack, as per usual. Now, Steen's here from RBK, 3 eliminations, 19 points, 103 builds. Jack taking a sip of his water.
No, because now you've got me thinking I forgot it was duos next week.
You want to double back on that statement?
Is it against rules? Like, can I offer, can I give Tfue, $300,000 to be my duo partner?
I don't think you can. I think that's against the rules,
Okay,
Jack.
I wasn't sure.
If you're at home, don't give anyone $300,000 to play with you, please. Thank you.
Send it to us. As right now, we see everyone on the map where they're stacked on up at Schmeck. Just staying in his little 1x1. Chucky right now. A lot
Chucky
of AR I'm
W.
going to work with.
Just want to be
Very clear.
Chucky
Just
W.
not to be confused
With any other Chucky.
Yeah.
It's Chucky W. Taking shots here. A couple players in rotation. Gets a no shield tag there. Butterbrain goes down. The second elimination for Chucky. Blue AR, blue combat, drum gun. Only one stink. Potential chance for a swap out on utility if Chucky gets an elimination close enough that he can loot the player's goodies after everything is said and done. We'll see. Your qualifying positions per region. By the way, if you're curious, we're watching NA East. That's 6 total spots. The top 6 players adjusted a little depending on who else might sneak their way up to those top positions.
That's
stink there. There's your one stink.
That's a great stink, especially with the zone moving.
He's looking for a lead there. Chucky potentially trying to watch for a shot. Saw Schmecht on your screen inside the shadow bomb in that moment. Just a second. Boxes up right here next to Chucky and shots from yet another player. Another shadow bomb. The quick top wall edit. Schmecht is rotating. I got tagged one time. No big deal.
Even while fully invis right there. That was very early on in the shadow bomb. And oh, I thought he was going to hit that second brick wall, but either way, nicely done, extending the duration of that shadow bomb by hitting that wall. It's one way where you're seeing these, the best players with these shadow bombs, the new additions to the game. They are realizing how key it is to just plan your route as you're jumping. You're like scanning for which walls you can hit off of and use to extend the duration. Shadow bombs only last for 6 seconds, but if you are in the air, climbing up the side of a mountain, like hitting off the side of walls and like wall jumping, it extends until your feet plant on the ground again. And that can make a huge difference when rotating and needing some extra time.
Shots there, a 40 shield. Going to follow through with some more. Schmeck trying to find any damage he can right there. For a player that is in that box, still pressure being applied. Glorious goes down. Schmeck continues to hold down that left click and take the shots. Schmeck looking for another one, a back-to-back potentially. 2 elims would be big here. Ability to top off the shield here in a second. Depending on positioning, maybe go pick up some materials as well. Not at max just yet, that's the happy place for everybody. The redeploy coming in. Schmeck gonna fly forward and land right next to another player. Couple shots from behind, doesn't get tagged. Does defend himself though, just to be safe. You can even hear the shadow bombs around. You hear the rotations of every other player while you are boxing up and trying to stay safe here. Looking for people to take shots at. Top gun of the feed, picking up another elimination. Shots through here. Those fish ankles, man.
They're skinny. You hear the shadow bombs, you hear the ballers bouncing around, you hear the gliders floating. It's
Rips,
like
everything.
It's just so much to take in, man. There's really, I can't stress it enough. If you haven't tried a late game competitive Fortnite game yet, or if you're someone who's just more of a casual fan, to really appreciate how insane these games can be, I recommend you either hop in some Storm Wars and creative as Schmeck, just 180 shotgun soaring right there, or hop into arena mode, get those points up and play where you've got 15 people rotating all in one zone. It gets absolutely nuts. Schmeck trying to drop that trap down. Unfortunately, a quick cone block from the opposing player.
Right, building up. We'll look for an opportunity to maybe see if we can take high ground. At this point, probably not. I believe there's at least 2 players up above him. See here in a little bit. 21 remaining. Here you go, Sunvilla all the way to the top. Top Gun even with him. A lot of players, though, trying to feed their way forward towards the edge of the zone, stay ahead. And Tragic's one of the people at the front. Almost a moment to look back and see if he can hit a shot. Oh, gets the Elam on Briggs. Tack shotgun. And an immediate rift just feeds him back up into the air. Basically a reset at that point. Only down 5 HP at that point, too. Good spot to be in. He's going to have to judge whether or not dropping in quickly if there are shots from Inspire, like right there. There we go. Doesn't want to get beamed too much. Plus, an opportunity to land literally on some materials and ammo as shots are still coming in. A top-down tough spot. Jenkins
Dodged the other trap. That was an opponent trap on that back wall.
He stayed against the far wall. It will not hit you if you are at max distance inside the same box.
Oh, this launch pad, though.
Oh.
Does get hit hard immediately on that liftoff. So we'll have to drop back on down. Doesn't get any new height with that. Schmeck now cut down. Tragic's weak as well to Steens. You got Steezy floating in as well. Tragic's no more healing left. Just going to simply come down to getting health back from fighting eliminations. He knows players are below him. Only 9 builds left. So again, at a point now where it's going to come down to the shotgun. There's one. The spray coming through. Is it going to be enough? There's a second. Now up to 145 health and extra builds. Tragic's making this late game something he can absolutely work with if he wants to come out on top. And it's down onto 1. Getting beaten from above, though. 38 HP is all that remains. Tragic's goes into the storm for the 1 elimination. Now on the right side, but no, Inspire is ready. Inspire gets 2, and just like that, Inspire gets the win.
15 points total for that victory royale. Oh, NA East, how much I love you. Thank you so much so far, but we got to take just a 2-second here and throw it over to Zeke. What do you got?
Well, listen, man, I think we all love NA East, and it's been an incredible day so far. Now, don't forget, guys, we're currently middle of the action, so let's actually hop over to Sundown, who's going to have some replays for us. We're going to take a look at the standings. So, Sundown, what you got?
Yeah, so what I got is a highlight of some of the key players, the ones who are interacting with that leaderboard and up on top. And we're going to start with TSM's Prodigy Aces, the Battle Royale veteran. He has been competing in so many different games, and we've seen him over and over again making his mark in the East, putting that tactical assault rifle to work, editing the door, and then getting out of dodge. And one thing I do want to note here, the prevalence of the tac shotgun in these very late games. For some reason, anybody who's holding that rare tac seems to be going to town, so might be something going on there as Prodigy Aces, excuse me, blah, not able to speak. Normally that's Zeke's job, as he's able to clean up Schmacked right there on the low ground, on the run, and also preemptively dropping down those traps any chance he can. And you can see him there eliminating Nate Hill, but unfortunately gets taken out by the current Elim leader last time we checked, Tendi. Now, Aspect, somebody has been a little quieter, but has finally started finding his stride again. Goes on a great little tear here. First with the trap and then the close range play. And this is textbook Aspect. Getting aggressive, going down. He's doing it against some of the best. Had Mega right there. And another player who's able to put off highlight reel after highlight reel is Kaizui. We saw him do it in the Secret Skirmish. He has some of the most clipped flicks in Fortnite, but you're showing that he doesn't always have to have a sniper to do it. Working top down, putting the aim of that combat shotgun to work. Now on board here with Tempo Sizlucky, the player who has already qualified, and Jack was calling out these shots from downrange were amazing, and then using the stink to then force Knife out and continuing going forward, finding Joystick from Rise there, and then finding another target, not slowing down, making sure he has enough room to try and pop the slurp, but instead, you know what? The best heal you'll get is gonna be that Siphon. Brilliant pickup there from Struggs, works back around into the zone, and he's still looking for it. Unfortunately, it was Kahlua, and Kahlua was going on such a run here. First with the stink towards the side, and then leaving the launch pad there in case he needs it. Didn't end up utilizing it. Instead, goes to work in this kind of low ground congested area and turns it into a bunch of Elims. That was the Elim he picked up on Sizlucky, and then drops right back down, gets Ockers, and he doesn't slow down. It was a really good job from Kahlua right there to run the rest of it out and pick up the plays. And again, every one of those interactions mattered. Every point can be the difference, because it could come down to tiebreakers. And right now, Tendi still holding that top spot at 35 points. But Zeke,
It's a very small spread. You like to say this a lot, son. Now look at the top. You look at top 10, 31 points to number 1 right now, 35 points. Only a 4-point difference. That's the difference of hitting top 25 and a single elim.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen all of these guys, and importantly too, nobody's been burning through games. There's nobody up here who's maybe played 5 or 6 and had a lot of elims, and nobody is winning a lot of their games all the way through. You do have Kazooie picking up 2 out of 3. That's the best placement ratio we've had so far, but nobody going for that 3 out of 3 and that kind of incredible buffer that you generally see at the start. What is that going to mean for the rest of the day? Every one of these interactions, every single point is that much more important. When you're this close to each other, anytime Aspect fights anyone within 5 points of them, that's huge. Anytime Tendi is trying to secure a spot and he gets dropped down, that's massive, because somebody who's within, again, 15 points, a reasonable pop-off game, can come steal away one of these spots, and all of these guys came to play.
And I mean, 31 points isn't that much of a big lead, so we can even see someone coming out of, 25th, top 30, even jump up through the standings with a fantastic game, but we'll have to see how things shake out. So, of course, we still got Dr. Lupo, Courage D ready to go, so let's hop back into these NA East games. Gentlemen, over to you.
NA East. Sorry, Lupo. I was taking that one from you. You just ate 2 tacos.
I did.
I thought you needed a second.
I ran away and got them before you ate them. That's why I didn't tell you about them, because I knew they would have disappeared in an instant.
You came back and told me at the last second.
Yeah.
Liquid Poach, also known as Poach.
It's actually Powaki.
Oh, Powaki.
Yes,
right
Powaki.
now, sat up with the tactical assault rifle. A player that is a veteran in Fortnite competitive, for all sense and means of the words, but so far yet to qualify for the Fortnite World Cup.
Hate to see it. Powaki picking up a second elimination there, 18 points total, 47 remaining, and the mind of Powaki right now is basically taking shots down from above. You want to try and catch players that are maybe even going for loot on the rotation. He doesn't have to get too aggressive here. That's totally not how you pronounce his name, but he's never
gonna hate us.
Yeah,
he's gonna hate us. That's not the way to put it.
Well, I look forward to getting tagged on Twitter and nothing but rage face emojis.
Mm-hmm. Hashtag Fortnite World Cup.
If you don't spam rage face emojis.
That's a transition right there. Hashtag Fortnite World Cup.
You don't have to tag me rage face emojis. Do pick your best emoji though. Hashtag Fortnite World Cup to describe your favorite emote in the game. That might also be Jax. We'll see.
I like that. I also like having 8 grenades in my inventory, like Nil does right now.
We saw this yesterday as well. At one point, a player had this many and just started throwing them. There was a mass of players going for loot, fighting each other in the same boxes. Just kept throwing them. The thing about nades, picked up a pair of eliminations like it was nothing.
They can just fit in these little nooks and crannies that you're not ready to build for. They're a little bit off on the elevation, so next thing you know, you're taking damage you don't expect to. And they're so tough to keep track of. That's why when you see one thrown, you typically see all darn 8, because it's like, this is the guy that I'm going to eliminate with these grenades. That's kind of, it's like the stinks that we mentioned earlier. It's like, when I have 6 stinks, I basically say, I want to go for an elimination on someone, and I'm going to use these to make sure I get an elimination. I'm not going to throw 1. I'm going to throw all darn 6 and make this guy take enough damage to where I can eliminate him right away.
Here we go. On another one, Native Ray, Nil. Except the first elim so far this game. 100 in that TAC AR. Hold down the shots, looking to see if they can pick up any damage. Looking for players that have no shield, players that are on rotation, anything like that. Anything possible.
Anything is possible with this tactical assault rifle. The silence aspect of it, totally great. And here's those grenades, right? 2, 3 now thrown.
Pop the wall open at the same time. Look for the damage, the splash to push through the surface. Couldn't quite find it.
4.
The rift used down there, you could hear it in the background.
I'll look at our whole map. TSM Cloud, someone who is near the top half of our leaderboards in this one. Nightseeker in this. Joey, Aaron, Brutal, and here is Tragix. Name we've seen a lot so far today. Set up at the south side of this zone, just outside Neo Tilted. 6 shadow bombs will help get him towards the next zone relatively unscathed.
Easy rotations, hopefully, and even the potential chance for somebody else to put down a launch pad. You see a player flying up right there, maybe a rift. Anything at this point could be big. He does go for the edit. Quick little shadow bomb. The rotation begins. Going to be already at the front of the safe zone. Going to squeak his way out. You'll notice too, some players, and this is kind of an interesting tip. Some players will mark the center of the next circle with a marker to judge distance, depending on how far they have to go. But they don't have to be too worried if they know exactly where things are going to end. They'll put it at the edge so that they know like the line to sneak past, the last second, that kind of thing. That knowledge is big.
And Tragic's got an elimination right there, midway through. So I'm assuming the person he damaged on the edge of the zone wound up dropping to the zone in the next 10 seconds and actually got the elimination credit for that. So, hey, I think he'll more than take that one. He can't ask for something much easier than that. The Baller's just making polarized game a little bit tougher.
Kind of, it's almost bullying at this point.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the Baller bouncing around inside. We talked about those kind of players that will jump in and just kind of ruin everyone's day. As they're trying to build, they're trying to keep themselves safe. Maybe they're up in the air and there's only a few things holding them up. Ballers will bounce off them and try and break those. Polarized taking a ton of damage, going for that launch pad. You're going to see other players maybe take advantage of it. Grenades floating past there, very, very low. Drew Clank at the bottom does get eliminated, and a ton of players smushed. No elims just yet, but there are so many people rotating, so many chances just for one or two combat shotty shots that you can see elims get picked up by pretty much anybody on the move here.
Yep. Keep in mind the 4 Dynamite too, if Smoosh can stay alive. Top 27, top 26, top 25 placement points earned. 3 Dynamite out, and a great edit into Koza's box. Another player mono as well. And he got a Dynamite elimination. There's a third Smooshed. 3 elims in the last 10 seconds. And placement points earned.
Cloud takes nil out in the feed, 21 remaining. Smooshed. The previously just chucked Dynamites, you have to wait for those to go off, and in the middle of all that, capitalizes on back-to-back elims inside a box.
I'm going to predict Poached is the one that drops next in this game. I'm making a prediction.
The next person to get eliminated?
Yes. I think it's going to happen. Poach. Oh, nope, it was not.
Close.
Poach had like 6 HP.
Why
when we went to that camera.
Why would you do that to your friend like that, Jack?
Yeah, I was trying to look like I was a smart caster, but I'm obviously not.
Schmecked goes down in the feed there. Polarized looking to pick up a combat shouty shot on somebody. Pushing through, trying to take ownership of the wall. Quick little turbo build to hold him off. Purple TAC AR, the blue combat shotgun. One more player needs to go down, and we're at the next set of placement points. Perp drops up top. You have a ton of players in the top section of the map being eliminated. The combat shotty shots are so big when accurate. 100 plus with ease, especially in a headshot. 73 the body. Fishmole has the monitor off. Polarized picks up another.
He got him. I was wondering if he was going to grab the shadow bombs in time, and he did.
Yep. 2 there. 9 players left. This late in the game, we're at the final circle. Polarized sitting on 3 elims. No brick, but enough build. 53. He's got a third of his inventory full. He does have a player. He might see through the top up there. He's got a shot on the bottom as well. Rotates down. Finds Brutal. On the bottom side here, the soccer field gets the 4th elim. 6 players left. We are almost at the top 5. Everybody left at that point gets another 2 placement points. 7 total. The drop in goes for a shot on the flyby there. Polarized. Kind of stationing up. Number of players. Cloud all the way at the top. Dups gets eliminated there by Sunvilla. Polarized in the bottom. Dyslexic goes down. Is that Gandhi dab that I'm looking at the bottom of the screen? Cloud, though, all the way at the top, slowly edging their way down. A chance to just waterfall in. You don't have to push too much at this point. All you want to do, exactly as Cloud did, reconnect. Gandhi at the bottom, Polarized, and Gandhi fighting it out. Down in the street. SMG spray from above. Cloud looking to pick up any damage that he can. Very, very low down there. Cloud taking the drop in and does find it. At that point, the very end of the game, you're going to see players, especially in a position like that. He's got the top down on everybody.
Yep.
There's no need to get overly aggressive. You just wait for them to play it out, but you don't want to give them too much time. They might pop a mini. Cloud drops in, easy spray, gets the win.
12-point win. I mean, that's it. 2 eliminations, one of the 2 being that last one right there. It's really all you can ask for. Moving into our next lobby. Already a few names you recognize. East, right on the edge of the zone, fighting up against Deemer.
Here we go, the nades, another one. Got a wall off against those. Like you said, oftentimes where there's 1, there's 5.
Yep, it's like, it's the first one is the one that causes all the chaos. It's the second and third ones that are the ones that find the damage. as Deemer knows this, did throw 2, no connection, but has forced the player to play extremely awkward. And you've got to think, if this player's bouncing around like this, there's no way Isu has many mats. There's just not a chance.
A couple little jump shots there with the combat shotgun through a window, not enough. Deemer picks up that Elam, but he's down to 35 in the storm, applying pressure. Here we go. Has to rotate in. Hopefully nobody spots that shadow on the move. Deemer's going to use, as he said before, that strategy. He's going to climb that mountain, keep in the shadow bomb as long as he can.
Yep, that was actually really well done. That shadow bomb probably just exhausted after 15 seconds, and wow.
He closed the wall off behind him too. The timing on that was
lands
insane.
in like the perfect millisecond of a window to get that elimination. That was a perfect combat shot too, 130 to the dough. Gets that wall replaced, an hour and 15 minutes left in the NA East queues. Who will qualify for the Fortnite World Cup? Whose stresses will continue? As you know, these players are thinking about the weeks dwindling down. Every Saturday and Sunday that they don't qualify is one less opportunity that they'll have.
There's a handful of big names left in here. You have Munchguy in the top right corner. Roat very weak HP-wise, the very top of your screen. And Carbo, AMWK, very close to each other. Carbo not in a baller. AMWK is. Hopefully that is noticed at some point. Potential look back real quick. Chance to pop that and force an engagement if needed. Little edit resets. Peeking back through, see if it can spot anybody on the move. Go for the edit reset here in a second. Probably a door edit, the shadow bomb, and a push out here in just a moment. Here we go, the window. Dovkez goes down on the outside, breaks the baller. Didn't have to, but went for it. Couldn't quite pick up the second there. Get taken by another player on the outside, but here we go. Look at this, look at the angle here.
Boom.
Big rotation out in the open, moving all the way north, looking for the next safe zone. Pushing over the top of the player's build. It's going to land right here at the edge. Box up.
About as far as you could want to go right there. One player. It was Roat. It looked like on our screen was like still in the umbrella. Not sure if that's what they saw as well. Might have been a spectator thing. Carbo looks to get the wall placed. Doesn't tunnel vision. Doesn't get greedy. Knows it's best to just drop back, live to see another day. That's the final shadow bomb, and their inventory will be used. Toward the top side now, Marowak. All the way up top with the combat shotgun. Hogman, our top place from yesterday's qualifiers in this game as well.
Third one from the top there. Ace PGH all the way up top right now. Flows land jock in this game, rotating into baller still. Not a lot of HP and no shield. Ace, the top down. That combat shotgun from so far up.
Yeah, that was like 56 meters.
I don't know about Drop being trash, but Drop is back in the lobby now. Another Elim there. Rhyme, Armand going out to the storm. More combat shotgun shots. Marowak goes down from so far out. Ace is going to look down from above. Another player, potential Elim here, goes for the shots. Can't quite get it and is getting challenged for high ground. It's not enough though.
Chop it down, goes down. Ace has this flint knock to use to basically stop fall damage from being too big of a deal.
It's a weapon-based redeploy at this point.
Yes. As Ace will stay just a couple levels above these opponents, not going too ridiculously high up. And I like how he's already building one floor worth of metal. Like he knows, see, right there. Instead of overbuilding, can easily just reconnect, and here's the build battle up against the soccer skin on the other side of this wall. Looks like Ace doesn't get it right there. Still has his flint knock, going for height yet again. Trying to dodge from either side. That's a lot of materials used. Great retake of height by the opponent.
Build down and start layering out here. You don't want to fight too much for high ground if you know you're not going to get it. There is a player. Looks like they are challenging. In fact, oh my gosh.
Oh, there's
the
the save.
Are you
Wow.
kidding me?
You could not have been closer to falling to your death right there, Ace.
Well done. Finds
And he gets
Hogman in
both.
rotation.
He gets two right there.
And Owl. Hogman and Owl going down on the outside. The rotation there. That went from so bad to so good very quickly. Gonna find another. Looks for the fourth shot. 4 shots. Kills a bot on the outside. Rotating through.
Unbelievable. Moving forward now is Ace. Ace gonna pop these minis. 1, 2, gets them done. Back up to 124 health. Top 7 over top 5 earns 2 more placement points. Ace down to his last 2 builds. Gonna go and look to take the height. And I love that retake. I love that push out onto AWM. Doesn't try anything crazy with going through the front.
Oh, Tome with
the rocket
from
gets
above.
2.
Gets 2. Cardigan sweaters, Tome, Astonish Keys all the way with the high ground, looking down from above. It's going to double layer potentially here in a second. Wants to stay secured, connected to the back there. Rocket's still very, very big right now.
Yep.
The reload from Tomei, 6 elims so far. Would not surprise me if he finds another here in a moment. As Astonish is very weak on the bottom of the map.
Yep.
Cardigan Sweater's in the mid. Keys all the way up top. The flint knock. Cardigan going for it all the way up, and he misses it. A big whiff. Keys didn't even look. He wasn't challenged. Shots down now as Astonish and Tomei are the same level. Everyone is in a pool together. Keys all the way in the bottom. Goes to the fight against Tomei. Gets it. And Tomei with the back-to-back eliminations and an 18-point victory royale.
That flint knock play reminded me of like Anchorman when Will Ferrell jumps to the pit and goes, I immediately regret my decision. Like he got up and like floated high up. It's like, oh, you're probably wondering how I got here.
The pause,
yep.
you hear the music.
Hey, that's me. I've done that too many times.
I want you to know that's probably a joke that will make you. The kids at home don't get that.
Oh,
Jack.
not at all. Not at all.
We do though. We do.
Let me get some of the kids at home. Yeah, yeet! There you go. They got that one back.
I love courage.
Now they're laughing. Now they're involved. See, I got everyone happy. Joel, whoo, clean little shot right there. Gets the perfect accuracy for the elimination. As now Joel launch pads on over. I thought he was going to hit the zip line to reset his glide, but it doesn't appear so. We'll have time to pop these minis. Still 2 shadow bombs and the rift to go. It's like 6, 7, maybe 8 players right on this little mountain. This little plateau. Would you call this a plateau, Lupo? Is this a plateau? Plateaus are more flat, aren't they? I actually don't know. If any of you out there are rock specialists, rock structure specialists, I'm sure we have many. Probably half of our audience.
Rocks, Jack.
Please go ahead and tag me. Is that said? Yeah, I'm just interested.
Make sure you use that hashtag
Fortnite World Cup if you're a rock specialist and know what type of rock formation this is.
There it is.
It's faded. Spraying right now. I love that weapon spray, the weapon wrap. That little, I forget what it's called, but it's purple and pretty.
It's the Storm one?
I think so.
Whatever it is, I hope I have it because it's cool.
It is. They've been killing on the wraps. There's so many wraps now in Fortnite. It's insane.
The ones that move?
Oh my gosh.
Sick.
The bubblegum one, the new pink one, fire. So here's a look at everyone. Right now, DMO, just above King Clout, who is apparently on H2O. Fox is Psycho, left side of your screen, and here is King Clout.
And he's stepping up their name game, to be quite honest with you. They saw what Wes has done in the previous weeks. Trying to match it. 39 players left. It'll be a long time before we get to the point where placement points are a thing. 38 now. Lord NM picking up Blackhawk in the feed there. King Clout kind of wiggling around right here. Going to go for some edits and resets quick. I think he's, at this point, just kind of peeking between the... I literally just sitting here trying to figure out exactly what's going on. Okay, so that is actually very smart. A quad edit there to drop the structure above so he can place the launch pad and fly out the top in the middle of all that. Somebody tried to ramp it off right there, you notice, and could not quite stop him. Cloud going for a reset, dropping back in on the exact same launch pad for round 2. Very smart there.
No. I thought he was going to land higher up and build back in from the zone, but being down to already just 75 HP, wasn't like he had 100 health, didn't want to risk going any lower than that. This is an elevated push, so all these guys had to get up the side of this mountain, and you see they're favoring the left side where you've got a little bit less of a sharp incline like you do at the side of that cliff, but this is not going to be fun. Shadow bombs being popped left and right, as for some, it's going to be their only chance of living here.
Cloud trying to make his climb up there. He's going to get walled off behind Fines.
Insanity. So there's a look.
Creo in the feed picking up an elim. King Cloud 2 eliminations.
King Cloud is moving forward. Parallax still in a baller. OMG in a baller. Bros, Ride, all in baller. Sherbs just got broken out of his baller.
Faded the high ground here bit of a drop in, didn't want to put himself out there for too long. The circle's still moving. Does find the community launch pad, was a very, very big move there. It looks like it's not sitting on any rotation mechanics of his own, so he's gonna have to just kind of work off what other people provide him, maybe a rift on the spot, a launch pad, anything they can do in the spot. Finds DMO on the rotation there, picks up that elimination. Another one going for the tack shotgun shots repeatedly into a drum gun, gets another elimination. Very, very good.
Faded's whole game just changed right there.
Everything.
From 12 builds and 83 total health to 60 total plus builds and almost maxed HP.
Big move there, boxes up very quickly. Gonna wait on the rotation here, looking for anybody else. Yet again, these moments where they have a chance to take shots on players that are unsuspecting, like King Cloud and his water. Not enough there. Parallax still in a ball. Sen as well. Snood all the way at the front. The Shadow Bomb putting in the best position thus far. Gonna be able to box up. And Faded using those turrets. Kind of instantly pop the HP of that floor all the way up. A couple shots from above. Another tack shot. He shot combat all the way up top. It's a mini. Breaks the branch that player's sitting on. He's gonna build out. Start to move.
Oh, he missed the edit.
Very close.
Well, that player dove off the high ground, so he actually has height now. And it's time to bring out the dynamite, it appears, for Faded. Faded gonna start to chuck these down. There goes a ton of the build. One gets dropped. That's Joel. 167 total health. Faded realizing, wait, this is going back, and I'm gonna make sure I hold on to this for a second. Good job cutting down Parallax there. 6 total limbs now. That's more placement points too. A 4-point swing in the last 2 limbs.
Looks back down. For a second, I don't know if you noticed that, Faded did the take the L emote all the way in the sky. He is getting challenged for high ground now. Hopefully he doesn't pay the price for the cheeky little emote. Sen still in a baller this late, and there's 5 players left. Everybody picks up those last set of elimination points. We're at 7 now across the board for everyone in the game. Ride here at the bottom, thinking about challenging the baller. I think he didn't necessarily go for it. This player didn't go for it because they're sitting on such low HP and shield in comparison to others. They do jump out though. Back-to-back shots, and OMG, it's Sen is back in the lobby. 4 players remaining. Ride still has a slurp ticking, has a chance to pop a couple minis on the low ground, but is exposed so many sides. I think the player doesn't want to risk it just yet. Gonna move ahead here. Quick edit, wouldn't surprise me. The drop in. Okay, Bluff's out.
I think Bluff had nothing left.
Ride, Faded. 1v1, going for the minis. Faded picks one off. Ride rotating the outside in the storm. A desperation attempt to climb all the way up top. Gets the high ground and edit down. He's looking for a shot. Sees the player, can't quite get to him, and Faded blocked him out every time he tried.
Yeah, unfortunately in the end there, not enough time to be able to get a shot down range. Apex Faded. 7 limbs, Victory Royale, 17-point game there, Zeke.
Yeah, I just needed a little something there just to get me back in fighting order. Fortnite fam, you know, we're here in NA East. Let's go get ready to check out the standings as they are with our boy, of course, Sundown. We'll take a look because, man, these games have not disappointed. Again, it's finals day, 6 qualifying spots.
6 qualifying spots indeed, and like we said, the spread starting to kind of widen out a little bit. It's now at 12 points, still within kind of the reasonable pop-off game we've seen. However, new name up at the top. He's in that first spot. You have Apex Coop in second. Kazooie still holding down the fort in third. Aspect in fourth. Smacked in fifth. And Tendi rounding out the current qualification spots because 6 players from NA East will go on. However, you see Slobbings. The magical voice is apparently having a day onto himself as he climbs up into 7th, rounding out the top 10. Lanson Sheep and then Macwood also being up there. If you take a look at the games played, you know, all right around 4 or 5, and we're gonna start to get into the back half of those lobbies, which means, again, all of those interactions become that much more tense.
This is what we live for. This is what a lot of these players are trying to accomplish. I can't wait. We're getting ever so closer. I believe we have one more thing to take a look at.
Yeah, we are going to take a look. Again, if you are joining in on the action and watching, you can check out in client. We have a special event going on right now. Yes, it is Fortnite X Jumpman. I know Zeke has been rocking his kick game the past
I didn't wear him today, but
Chicago's on yesterday. But you know, this is a mode where you can show off your moves in the Downtown Drop LTM by Jordan, featuring creative artists Not Neloff and Tall Malia. Launch off massive jumps, grind down city streets, and collect coins to win, and I mean, you can check it out right there. It's a course that will test your speed, test your ability to navigate around, and don't forget the hang time bundle is also available. And if you purchase that, you can get some extra challenges and missions that go along with that backboard back bling. You know, some other styles. You've seen the players rocking it. You see Zeke trying to flex on out a little bit, but I'm gonna make sure he holds this spot. We're gonna go to a quick break, and then we'll be back with the rest of the NA East action. Don't go anywhere.
What's up, Fortnite fam? Sundown here, and today we're going to cover some of the basic terminology you should know when watching competitive Fortnite. If you're familiar with high-level gameplay, these should be commonplace and a nice little refresher. If you're a little newer, buckle in, because you're about to learn up. Rotations. A rotation is the path a player or team takes to get from their current location to the next safe zone. Rotations cover not only the direction the players choose to path, but also the method they use to get there. A lot of different forms of utility enable rotations, including vehicles, rift-to-goes, building, shadow bombs, and glider redeploy. A player's ability to rotate effectively is key because this determines what type of engagements they'll be facing and whether or not they're at an advantage or disadvantage. Gatekeeping. Gatekeeping is when a player who is secure inside the safe zone puts pressure on an opponent who is forced to rotate because of the storm closing in on them. The gatekeeper is able to get uncontested shots onto the opponent, as they are forced to move due to not wanting to take damage from the storm. You will see a lot of top players utilize this in order to create opportunities to get eliminations and points. High ground advantage. High ground advantage is when you have a height advantage over your opponent and are looking down on them. Having the high ground enables you to have more access to information and easier ability to take and hit shots. You will frequently see players battling for high ground in all stages of the game, but in particular during the late game. The ultimate high ground is generally the player or team who controls the highest level during the final circles, and they have a number of advantages. They are typically the least threatened, can decide when to drop down and start taking fights, and also have great angles to punish opponents with AoE weapons or rifle fire. Low ground warrior. The next term is the opposite of the high ground. The low ground warrior is the player looking to sweep along the ground floor, taking close quarter combat fights and forcing opponents to make the first move. This can also be efficient because it often doesn't require as many materials or as much of a risk to gain control of, but can also lead to being in a lot more chaotic of an environment. Backside of the storm. Speaking of chaotic environments, our next term is possibly the most perfect embodiment of this. The backside of the storm is when the safe zone is closing in towards a new one and the players are clustered in towards one edge. Generally, it is very high density of competitors, and you will find a lot of interactions, engagements, disengagements, and eliminations occurring at this point, particularly for those low ground warriors we just talked about. 1x1s. 1x1s are the most basic proponent of building in competitive Fortnite. This is when a player boxes themselves in using their own builds, making them safe from outside fire. This technique can be expanded on to allow for players to take control of a space around them, but it all starts with the 4 walls around you, then a floor plus ceiling that each have a pyramid on them. Tunneling. Tunneling is the first basic expansion of the 1x1s. Tunneling is when players create a tunnel out of their own builds in order to rotate safely. This is typically done by putting out floors and ceilings in either a straight or diagonal path, then covering your sides with walls as you advance. This allows players without utility to rotate for maximum safety. 90s. 90s are when players utilize vertical 90-degree rotational building in order to build upwards as fast as possible, while also remaining covered. This enables players to try and gain high ground advantage or outplay their opponent to get a quick, different angle. you'll frequently see them used in mid-game build fights or in endgame scenarios where players have to build up very quickly. This has been a quick rundown of the common competitive terms that are frequently used on broadcast. If there are any other terms you're unfamiliar with, let us know using the hashtag Fortnite World Cup and asking for an explanation. We hope this helps you level up, and we'll see you all on the battle bus.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Fortnite World Cup Online Open Qualifier. Golden Boy here. It's Solos Week, and you just saw a video teaching you a little bit about the wide world of competitive Fortnite. And let me tell you, there is so much to break down in this game, and that's what makes it so amazing. But we have more games to cover, so we need to bring out our casters. Let's go ahead and bring out the comedic silence of Zeke and Sundown. Gentlemen, take it away.
Comedic stylings is very generous because I'm comedian guy, and then, you know, Sundown just destroys the joke. Doesn't let me have fun.
In reality, Zeke thinks he's funny, and it actually states in my Twitter bio that I'm not funny. So when you laugh at my jokes, it makes me feel good, and then just please don't laugh at his. But nothing to laugh about here as we're in week 7 of the Fortnite World Cup Online Open Qualifiers. And I mean, are you ready, Zeke? I'm ready. Let's get in the games.
Let's get into these games, man. A lot of these players have worked so hard. We're here in week 7. Just 2 weeks left, both in solo competition and the duo competition. This is one of the 2 weeks as well.
I mean, effectively 1.5 or even 1 and less at this point now. Once we give over the 6 spots going to NA East, we'll only have NA West and the 2 spots coming out of Brazil. So we'll see a number of players join us, and you can see in that bottom left-hand corner, just under an hour left in the queue time, as Crims, who qualified in week 2 with Spades, picks up a great elim there. And I also saw Tfue up in this lobby picking up an elim there. So the player who qualified, I believe it was week 3, he ended up qualifying in first place with the 69 points. So really stacked lobbies coming in, and it's only going to get more stacked.
Oh, yeah, man. Especially, again, we're kind of toward the tail end of these qualifiers, you know? Only a handful of slots left to send people through to the final. So just as you see there on the right side of the screen, Becky, you're so good at your job. Graphics popping up. Hashtag Fortnite World Cup. Boom. That's right, you know?
I don't think I've actually seen those stacked on top of each other. That looks pretty cool. But as you were saying, Zeke.
Oh, they're at the block? I was like, what is this octopus creature? I've never seen. Oh, that's right. That's the block this week.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you've definitely seen it. Casting games over the block had a couple end here that were going on yesterday with the variable pools. But right now, we're on board with Adam Pones hard. Not doing enough poning right now. Sitting on 0 elims, but has the legendary assault rifle and the tack to get some work done. You see Poach picking up Tynox over there as Reloads also gets Triumph. And we're at just under 50% of the lobby. So still 15 players to be dropped before we hit that first placement threshold.
Yeah, guys, don't forget, top 25 is where the first placement points are divvied out. Top 15, top 5, and the victory are those next thresholds there. So we still have quite a bit of people that need to go down. Keep in mind, we're about to hit Storm Circle 6, and this is how dense this lobby is right now. This is what we see in finals. You know, a lot of these players making it to the end. You talk about it a lot, son, and I love when you do. Every interaction matters, so trying to stay alive, trying to get as many points as possible really shifts the standings potentially in your favor.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a absurdly stacked lobby. You could see right when we got over the side there, just name upon name in the NA East senior Bugga, who was in that lobby, as well as Tfue still hanging around. Poach is in here, and right now, the rotation that comes out is going to be an awkward one. If you see the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, we're going up the mountain that is directly to the southwest of the block. It's a really awkward rotation, as Adam gets a nice little gatekeeping elim there onto Zycoma, and he's going to start his rotation.
This is going to be definitely very difficult considering the density of the lobby right now. Look at this. Everyone using recycled utility, Rift to goes. We have ballers in play. Looks like just 4 for now. Tfue there. Looks like he might be getting harassed from the ballers just around, and now he's going to begin his movement. There you saw FaZe Mega for just a moment. You're right, man. This is a who's who of just talent right now. 36 players. We've only seen 4 be eliminated, now 5. We still need another 10 to go down, Sundown. And look at Tfue, he's in a very tough spot, critical condition. Gonna roll the first slurp there, and he does have the minis, but he doesn't have time to stop. He's got to keep going, got to get himself to safety.
Yeah, needs to make sure he's inside the zone. Looks like he did finally get it. If you see the bottom right-hand corner, just inside of that white circle, which indicates the next safe zone, and instead gonna turn around. You can see barely on the corner, and it's gonna keep going forward. So got a good elim there, but it's gonna need to cycle back, opting not to grab those bandages. We'll see if that ends up biting him. Instead, gonna go forward, place a floor at his feet, block those guys off, instead dropping down.
Wow.
It's a great elim onto Smooshed 5. Smooshed is also eliminated as we get closer to that top 25, and there it is. High Noon and Cardigan Sweaters go down as Bugga picks up that last elim. So everybody getting the 3 points in a great rotation here coming out of Tfue.
This is really huge as well. You know, those 2 eliminations helping him out with the siphon. He's in a great spot. 1 more is going to put him back in fighting shape, but just knowing, having this great game sense, navigating these very tight circles. There's so many players, anything at any moment could go completely wrong, and Tfue made the best of the situation, hopping in on Mega though. No eliminations currently. We'll see that situation potentially change. Look at the utility though. Slurp, Rift to go, minis, tack, AR, builds galore, and his first elimination there, gonna give him the 200 effective HP with a very weak baller currently.
Yeah, I mean, anything right now will pick that over, but he's mainly just using it as a source of rotation, so he's going to be happy to get anything out of this, and it will also kind of act as one of those Bush or the Snowmen. They're eating an effective shot as we are inside the top 15, so everybody in here has gotten at least the 5 points for their trouble, and you can see Mega just trying to stay out of people's way. Doesn't want to take the interaction, doesn't want to lose the last of his baller there as the second to last one gets cracked out, and Mega finally being like, all right, let's leave that down here, let's play some Fortnite, get on the low ground and turn back as you have Lenon and Crims up on the high ground. Tfue picks up Cutthroat right there, and we're into the top 10. Mega, here's the Shadow Bomb, go off next to him. He's looking to capitalize. Good edit, reset, and then drops down, picks up 2 Vayne, and still has a Rift to go, too.
I mean, he's probably going to look to pick it up. There you go. And I like that he swaps it out. You can do that very quickly. If you're okay, as I say that, though, Mega is just going to claim himself the high ground. Keep in mind, he still has the redeploy.
Yeah, he picked it up as he popped the Rift, so great then elim to retake high ground, and he punishes Vinny right as Vinny picks that up, getting the top 5 as well as another 2 points as Davon gets it. And this lobby is stacked for a top 5. Mega on the high ground, Tfue, Crims, Davon, and Tendons all on the low ground. Every one of these players is infinitely better than me and possibly one of the best players in NA East. 2 already qualifying for solos and duos as it comes out. Who will get the victory royale here as Tfue challenges up 117 to the high ground, drops down, only sitting on the 2 builds, so gonna circle back in the storm as Crims finishes off Davon there. Tfue gets in the box, 1-2, he gets trapped. The trap is down, and it was the revenge, and that was it. And Mega simply wins by forcing out Tendons and holding the high ground. So Mega with that take in the box when he got the Rift and took the redeploy. That was the match. We talk about every small little interaction, every decision making matter. You want to know what it looks like to be a double qualified player? The 14-year-old from FaZe, Mega, popping off right there.
That was just absolutely insane. Like, to identify that, keep in mind, those shots were fast. This was done within 2 seconds. To realize someone was coming in your box and to say, look, even if I fall here, I'm gonna make sure to drop this trap on a structure that I control. Because you notice it was on the ground, it wasn't on a wall. He didn't own the wall, so he had to drop it on the floor, and that picks up Tfue as the revenge elim. Oh my God.
And one thing to note there too is Crims will not get the point for that. It is in the World Cup rules. Once you have been eliminated, you are no longer a player in terms of the lobby scoring. You are not allowed to then get an elimination credit. It is a visual bug in the representation that it pops up in client. When you go back to the scoreboard, it does end up going down through there.
But of course, look, we've got more action. We're knee deep in NA East, moving in toward the last hour or so of their queue time.
Knee deep? I mean, at this point, Zeke, it feels like we're waist deep. Look at this lobby right now. Just on this side, Daxter, Anthony, Cloud, Lanizi, Tuxi, B right down there. I mean, that's only the first 5 players we can see, and there's basically 40 plus, I still think, in this lobby. Yes, 44.
Man, NA East, you know, it's funny because like we hop into different regions and they're all doing different things. NA East always feels like it's just tension. Tension until everything just, you know, just unfolds and it's just an action movie.
So historically going back, can't speak necessarily for the Cups and the World Cups because I haven't looked at the kind of the elim curves as much, but traditionally NA East is slightly more passive than a lot of the other regions. And when I mean slightly, I mean it's closer to about 20 to 30%. Again, this is from previous skirmishes and competitive stuff, but their elim curve is a lot slower. It picks up towards the end game, but between circle about 3 and 6, generally on average, they lose about 10 less players per lobby. So that's why you see it end up being so clustered. Why that is, mix-up play styles, different regions play in different ways. You can see Europe tends to be a little more aggro when it comes to solos in particular. They chain it back when it's duos, but in the perfect storm of NA East in solos with money qualification spots on the line, you end up with a whole bunch of players directly on top of each other.
I love the breakdown there, Sundown. Your insight is unmatched. It's just unmatched. I mean, Follow is probably.
I was about to say, hey, that might be giving me too much credit. There's a lot of people who watch a whole bunch of Fortnite, but that's really what it comes down to, just enjoying the game and watching these players play it at such a high level is just really kind of where I get the passion for all of this. They make it so easy to watch and so easy to enjoy. As you see Neasy rocking that new fish stick skin, hanging out in virtual reality, and hopefully hanging out with an elim here, and he finds it! Drew is cultured. You can go enjoy your culture. Back in the lobby, queue on back up, because Lunisi just ripped you in two.
That was absolutely beautiful. But look, we're still at 37 players, by the way. We still have another 12 players that have to go down before we get those initial placement points. And we're in Storm Circle 6. It is about to start moving. We're going to watch this lobby literally get cut in half.
And we're rotating back over the center of Loot Lake, which has some awkward spots where it's difficult to build, so expect players to have to burn through a lot more materials. Now, Clicks, Dexter, Shotang, and Reformed all have the angle as players are going to rotate in with them. So now we're going to be on board with Tuxi, and you can see him, he's waiting for this player. 1, 2, gets both clicks. You know, you're very consistent, but not covering your side. Right there will be the end of that run. Tuxi, though, playing Loot Goblin, is going to have to get that emergency rift to go and get out of dodge.
He did take quite a bit of storm damage, but he's got the slurp. He's got 2 of them, in fact. And, I mean, if he picks up a siphon along the way, he will be back in fighting action.
Also has the 2 minis, so not going to be hurting there. You have Merkin, Av, and another player up in the sky. Spyrock also there for Merkin as Tuxi is trying to get over to that far side. He wants to get the high ground, but also doesn't want to take unnecessary chip as he loses the rest of the shield. In the box, no, 1 box over. Disengaged from both the players. Tuxi needs space to pop the slurp. Should slurp and then double minis so the tick is going off as your shields go through. That's exactly what he's going to do. Should be enough to get him close to that 100-100. As Spyrock picks up Tommy, you have K416.
Siphon.
Something gets grabbed. Got Tuxi trying to push in. Can he get it? He does. Offers goes down. We're at 26, so 1 more needs to drop, and then we'll be into that top 25.
This is so great. We also hear the rift not that far away, and I believe Tuxi is going to slow it down. There we go. So we hit top 25. The first 3 points are divvied out to everyone in this game. And now look, immediately Tuxi says, I want to go on the offensive. I want to catch people with their backs to the storm wall, and finds one. Immediately 6 elims. Sundown, in a lobby like this, the top 3,000 to have 6 eliminations, and now 7!
Yeah.
What?
Him knocking down the structure right there actually caused Shotang to fall while he was building out. So a great job there, and also a little fortunate. You know, sometimes you gotta make your own luck, and sometimes you gotta actually be able to land your waterfalls. That's what you get for not grabbing that redeploy when you push back out. But now we have Cloaksy on the ultimate high with Benny and Jacobaki trying to build down. Cloaksy, this is the position he's used to. Jacobaki trying to take it away from him. He does, gets ticked right away. 95 effective HP. Cloaksy was on less than 50, so can Jacob push down and end his run? But we're into the top 15 now as Festival picks up BM 106, and Lonisi then trades it right back out onto him. Jacobaki is desperately looking to find Cloak, wants to gain complete control over the high ground, but it looks like he's just going to settle for what he has now.
Oh, dude, look at the positioning of the storm right now. We're going to be going back over old builds. This is going to just be completely fatal to a lot of these people in the lobby. If you're not sitting on high ground, you're going to... What was that shot? Was that player out in the storm? Okay, Benny gets picked up. But as I was saying, you got to be mindful of where you're navigating. You might have old walls that you can edit and make your way through, or there's going to be people that have left behind metal, and you're going to have to spend time cracking through those builds and look at the free loot along the way.
Yep, or you can circle back and get a complete and total refresher there. Jacobaki going from 15 builds to just over 120. So now he's saying, I'll build to my heart's content. Double ramp out, no problem. Floor and pyramid, sure, I'll go up another level. I don't mind here, as he completely disregards that fray on the low ground. Look at that. You have Lanise on the bottom low ground. K in a whole bunch of other numeration in between. Beta reform, Daxter, glitch, and Lullabis is toxic on the mid tarp, and Jacob just hanging out, looking on the top down. Jacob's in your top right. Daxter in the bottom right on the mid tarp for now. Keep an eye on Daxter as Jacob works top down. Daxter's going to be the one to look to make plays, and he finds the first 109 tag there, but can't quite convert as K416E614Z is able to pick up the elim onto Lullabis, getting closer and closer, but he is on the low ground, and a double trap play comes out from Lanise right there to pick up Beta Reform and frag his way into the top 5, and he gets it right again onto K. So now we're into the top 4, Zeke.
This is a really strong position coming out of Jacob Aki, who's maintaining the high ground. He's just waiting for players to expose themselves for a moment. He sends shots down to Lunisi. And look, Daxor, he's right here. He's ready to go toe-to-toe with Lunisi. This could be a huge siphon pickup, but Jacob also hungry, wants more eliminations. He's look at the 4. Look at Daxor. He cleans it up. That's his 7th right now. He could potentially have 8. An 18-point game could go his way, but for Jacob, it could be a 15-point game.
He has 4 campfires. He has 4 campfires right now, so he walked out ahead of the storm, trying to get whatever he can. He needs to put the other ones down. He thinks he has enough, but it's not enough. Jacob Aki had a campfire or 2 of his own on the high ground. So Zeke, your call out, hey, sometimes he can go back and get some more materials. All of those materials, all of the campfires, the loot from the high ground control gives Jacob Aki the run through and the supreme ultimate high ground, and he just gets to wait out the lobby.
Man, I'm surprised. You did see the extra 2 in his inventory. He could have just cracked the walls right in front, or even if they were his, just edit them and place them down. At worst, it just takes you an extra 3 seconds. Unfortunately, did not go his way right now, but don't forget, we still have more games to play. The queue time is still going. They can hop back in. And now we're into the next one, Mine 2K. He's got 4 eliminations currently here in Storm Circle 4, and again, another dense lobby, 43 players currently. I mean, Mind, look at the loadout. I mean, it's pretty beefy. You know, I've got the 3-weapon loadout as opposed to the 2 over in the utility, one of them being a Rift to Go. 96 builds. I mean, it's looking pretty good for him so far.
Yeah, he's doing okay for himself. I'm gonna guess largely on the back of those elims. When you do eliminate 4 other opponents, you get their loot pool and access to choose from that as well. Going for the immediate replace doesn't get it. Not often you see somebody run up with the first heavy sniper and lose, but it was able to get the shots right there onto Finessed. Finessed getting finessed himself. Back into lobby you go. You can queue back up as Blur picks up Thresh and Riggish gets Flesh, and we get inside the top 40, so still 14 players need to go down, and it's gonna be a pretty solid rotation. A lot of open space that's gonna come through here.
I wonder if we'll see the player just go ahead and do what we saw, which is you burn the rift, you pick up the glider redeploy, the moment the rift goes off, and then you have that in your inventory. We'll have to see. But over here, across the way, Young Chung sitting in a baller. Look at his loadout in comparison. Not really running anything in super long range aside from that the heavy sniper, excuse me. Mostly playing close quarter combat right now.
And I mean, once you get into Circle 5, this is fine. The suppressed rare SMG and the rare combat shotgun have enough range on it combined with their rate of fire to make up for close to the DPS of the rifle. It's still not going to be the same, but it's good enough to get the job done. And if somebody is hard peeking, you have the heavy snipe, and plus the heavy snipe in terms of aggression going forward, like that, swapping the wall. Unfortunately, not able to get them. That was Ziff on the other side, picking that one up onto Mr. Cappy, but is gifted a nice pair of balls right there, and all the loot that will come with it as he drops right in. 88 builds and disengages.
Now here we go. 20 seconds left here. We're gonna get the next Circle Storm, Circle 6. And again, we've only gone down about 5 players from 43 to 37. It's about nothing. But look at this. Is that Panda? Panda?
Yeah, I would say P&H would be what I would go for it there, but it might be Panda. But with that being said, it was brilliant from P&H to get the wall and then throw the stairs behind Young Chung. But Young Chung just said, all right, straight up aim fight. Let's go. You can have right hand. I'll take my shots. I'll hit my shots. And he does with 35 HP to spare. That's confidence. And now instead going to press on the player using that suppressed SMG to try and get some shots in there, but not going to be enough. Blur is toxic, just going to top himself back up. And let's rotate on over. You got Sofa, Ziff, Hokage, GAFN, as well as Cowboy in the lobby as well. And now we're on board with Ziff sitting on those 3 big pots, 2 elims, and 70 builds. Also on the far side of the zone, though, trying to currently hold the cone edit and then looking for another shot. Right now, not quite going to be able to find it, but he's stalking that backside of the storm, getting pinned against it now, rotating through his metal. He's desperately going to look for an elim right here on this backside. He wants to fight, and he finds a shot on the guy on the high ground, who then drops down directly in front of him. Can he push forward? Can he find the room? Right now, it doesn't look like it. And on the player, the early redeploy, that's going to hurt.
Oh.
And instead, Ziff gets caught. Not having a build there, the cone placed on the bottom didn't allow him to place the ramp, so he is going to fall there. And you can see Assault trying to set his feet, Ryan P trying to set his feet, Blur picks up 1, Julesy gets Scubified, and we get closer to that top 25 Z.
Man, we're so close, and it's about to happen. There you go. The top 25 has been hit. 3 points going to everyone left in the lobby. Now, what I would love to see right now is I want to see this bird's eye view, because, again, we're here in Storm. Now this is Storm Circle 7, and we're still 21 players. There are so many people playing shoulder to shoulder. Corey right now is in very critical condition. Super low HP, about 40 if I remember. Look at this. Look at the space we have to work with. Corey immediately, though, says, Zeke, don't even worry. I have an elimination. I've been hunting this player. A second one there as well. But keep in mind, no shield, 76. Someone could accidentally breathe in your direction, and you could be going back to the lobby. He's in a tough spot. 5 eliminations, though. If he could just hit top 15, that's another 2 points to hit. And look at everyone. They say, we are aware, Corey. We see you. We see the Tracers coming in. We want to find this elimination. Nothing has come through yet, though, and immediately he looks to challenge, potentially for the high ground. Echo, though, he's going to say, not today, friend. Not today.
Yeah, Ecolo King picking that one up and then immediately getting pressured, but he got the Siphon in the storm, then gets out with the sub 50 HP Siphon being the difference there, as now we're on board with Clarity G sitting on 42 points. He's in striking distance of the top of the lobby, just needs to get a couple more, and we've seen a lot of him now. Has the 100 builds, looking to challenge upward, goes up and over 1 just to disengage and try and get over to the far side of the zone. Really burning through some of his mats here, but doing it in a safe way, as the lobby has now dropped to the top 10, and he's turning back to try and lay down some shots.
The next threshold is top 5, so he's just looking to find anyone with their backs to the storm wall, send shots out. Nothing does connect, unfortunately, but he wants his player. You can kind of tell just by the way he's moving. And the thing is, you got to remember, in this tight space, you're hearing footsteps all over. You have to be tracking players above, below, on the same tarp as you. There's a lot of information to just digest very quickly, and now Clarity G is just going to be dropped down, trying to reset himself, recollect, reload everything, and get ready, because we're coming down to the wire.
Yeah, he was actually able to pick up the elim there on Ecolo King by putting a couple of those tac rifle shots on him and then walling him out of the zone. You see Assault there pick up an elim with barely 1 HP. Does pop the mini there as we're back on board with Clarity G. Top 7, so top 5, the last placement threshold before Victory Royale and elims. Clarity, great edit down on the Ryan P, and Assault gets picked up as well right before Clarity picks up Pure Vex. So Vex did get the 2 points before getting absolutely obliterated, and now Sofa on the high ground, Rigorth on the tarp underneath him. You have Clarity in the bottom right there as Sofa just mows down Julesy from the high ground. So Sofa in the top right, Clarity in your bottom right, as Rigorth is putting shots onto Clarity. Clarity with the Scourge skin, trying to find whatever bit of room he can, whatever he can do with the combat shotgun from the low ground, but Sofa isn't gonna have any of it. He's holding control of the high ground. 20 mats left as Rigorth just waits for his moment. He knows somebody's gonna have to force. We are in Storm Circle 9. It will go to a full close, and all of a sudden, Clarity has a ball. He might try and make a play up towards the high ground or just use it as a little bit of an extra shield. Instead, he's going up. And now, all of a sudden, 3 storm ticks. So needs to be aware of that. Challenges Rigorth. First shot, second shot connects. Drops Rigorth down. Can he find it? He gets the siphon and back into the zone. But no mats. No, 3 mats. And he gets it by walking back out without a tick. 0 mats now. Sofa drops down. And he challenges it. Clarity. He gets it. 1, 2, back to back. Clarity G says, give me the points, give me it all. I'll sit on your sofa and I'll take the victory royale. 52 points so far from Clarity right there.
Man, you know, I don't know if Sofa should have challenged. He went for it there. He had the high ground. He was dropped there to meet the player that was sandwiched between them, but all in all, Clarity G, congrats. Great game out of you, but there's more Fortnite action we had hopping into the next game. 30 minutes left on that queue time. Hydres Again, so this is a little bit different right now. We're in Storm Circle 4, and there's about 50 people. This is kind of what we're used to seeing, not Storm Circle 6 with 50 people. Hydra's here has got his eyes on a player just in front. Gonna get that wall replaced. Dr. Football, you need to go see a doctor immediately, friend, because you're going back to the lobby.
Man, and that's such a loot pile right there. That's
Slurp, golds.
I mean, just whatever you
minis.
want. Honestly, right there, you just drink both of those slurps, let the timer run out, deny him from anybody else who might rotate back through. But this lobby, again, stacked. You got Commandant, who qualified in week 1, VYX, Defy, Dope Buy, Turkey Lips, Batman, Blind, Stretch, ZDQW _ Dom as well. I mean, a ton of very well-known Fortnite players. And you can see Turkey Lips here right now trying to get a little bit of that roaching or termiting off, as Bala calls it, you know, knocking down the walls and the floors of a structure and then replacing them with your own. You still get a little bit of excess mats, but it allows you to get those edit peaks off.
You have to crack everything. There's a bench there you could get. There's a little archway that you could potentially pick up. Got to try and find every little bit of materials possible.
And I'm slightly sad about that, because you can actually hit the ammo boxes and they'll give you 2 metal.
Yeah.
And it would have came close to topping him off, because I think he's at like 498 or like 488. Yeah, 484. So, you know, maximize efficiency. But he says, no time for that. I'm going to go get some elims and get some points on the board. Sundown, all about that Gobble Gang, as he gets a whole bunch of shields, a rift, some stinkers in there. So he's going to top himself off and feel pretty good about that.
I hope he just drops down there. The brick is just 1 layer down low. I hope he does pick them up along the way. But again, I mean, look, Hogman's now, Kaizui. There's so many people in these lobbies. And this is what happens, right? Because don't forget, the way it works is that your points are, you're playing against people that have similar points than you. So everyone is just leveling up at the same time, and these lobbies are just going to get more and more competitive as time goes on. Hogman has a beat here. The grenades are going to start coming out. He had a max stack here, and he's going to find Kaizui. Oh, he just completely just levels the playing field. He says, Kaizui, look, I'm just going to send a few of these your way. Kobe.
And that's huge, and we've talked about it again as 2 players who are in that top 10, vying for one of those 6 spots. An elimination from Hogman onto Kaizui is much more valuable, much more impactful than just the 1 point you see there. All of the time Kaizui spent in this lobby, he gets no placement points out of it now. Hogman additionally will be able to go over, clean up those mats, get whatever he wants from that, whatever he chooses. You can see the launch pad over there, gonna tuck that one in there. Opting to leave the Boombo right now, but he is also putting himself in the line of fire. Takes a decent amount of chip there and upgrades to that tactical AR. And is he looking to try and get the Boombo? No, instead he's gonna stick with his flint knock.
I mean, listen, the flint knock is incredible. You know Dr. Lupo loves it. So I want to see some play, Hogman. Let's make the clips happen. Commandant here rolling around in the fish stick. Also, a flint knock over on him. But look at the difference, the ammo disparity, 72 mags, or ammo, excuse me, not much in the way of ammunition for him, and the flint knock on just 17. I mean, he needs to find an elimination. It's not that bad, right? It could be, if things go much longer and he doesn't find one, it could be really bad for him. Immediately, though, swaps to that flint knock saying, I'm going to try and point blank this man. I got to pick him up. I need the elimination.
Honestly, it looks like he's just kind of messing him with it every time he pulls him out, just twirling around saying, I might shoot you. And he does, he gets it right there onto ZZ Andrew, but unfortunately also takes a couple ticks because it throws him back out, trying to top off, and he does trade out for the Shadow Bomb. So this is the first time we've ever seen a loadout like this, where it's flint knock into solo AR, but it's what Commandant is rocking. And you saw Hogman also opting into the solo flint knock, so maybe there's a thing going on here. Who knows? As ZDW underscore is able to pick, or ZDQW underscore is able to pick up an Elam. Fighter Turtle does go down, and Commandant gets over the far side, reloads that flint knock, gets the ball down in there, shoves the musket on, and then gets it going. So ready and prepared to fire off that 1 shot. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ballers still in play. As we get closer to that top 25 threshold, Lumber Season picks up, accelerates, and the next player to drop will miss out on those 3 points, as Commandant is just trying to stay to the front side of the zone as we rotate towards Lone Lane.
Man, I like that he's, as we're building here, trying to get himself to safety, just tunneling. Oh man, I was gonna say, he just keeps swapping back there to the flint knock, because he's like, look, I can do so much with this. This is such a versatile tool. If I need to, I can just disengage. If I need to, I can knock someone back in the storm. I can just one pump them outright. And on the other side, though, blind, and basically 100 effective HP total. But everyone else, look at this. We've got ballers flying around, and up on the high ground, you've got, I didn't even see the name, but look who else is in this lobby as well. Bizzle, sitting on a Chug, Impulses, Combat Shotgun. This guy's got a loadout. Here we go, challenging up on the high ground. Can he pull this away? I mean, Bizzle's doing what Bizzle does, claiming that high ground. But now where, I believe, so stuff started to fall, the structures, okay, I'm not sure if the player is still up there with him. It looks like, okay, that player must have fallen down as the structures. Bizzle caught himself, though, back up on the high ground. He's good to go. Everyone else is down below. And now he's saying, look, all right, let me just rejoin you guys up from the stratosphere. I'm coming down. Let's keep playing Fortnite.
Yeah, trying to work top down there as Damien picks up threats, and we're inside the top 15. So Hydra's got 2 points before being sent back. Bizzle, again, one of the week 1 qualifiers who came out right away and popped it up. Also did a very interesting no weapon challenge qualifying for the Sunday finals, won the week. Got a really nice turret triple elim.
That's
on
right.
there. Check that clip out. Highly recommend it. But right now we're in this match where Twizbot picks up a nice little double to get us into